Hello to everyone out there on YouTube, on Periscope, in the Mojoverse. My name is Spencer Bakuli. I would like to welcome you to Bounding Live, the best and best looking panel on all of YouTube. I'm the associate editor for Bounding into Comics. I am joined today by my co-writer, co-staff, co-friend, Donald Edmonds. How you doing, Don?
Feeling good. I've got the white power. Nobody?
No, I think when you showed me that figure last weekend, I noted that it should be the Black Power Ranger who's the White Power Ranger, because white power is not just relegated to white people nowadays.
Oh.
Man, we started this one off hot. Anyway,
demonetized.
Instantly demonetized. Before we get started, I'd like to. I see there's a few people in the chat. Want to give a shout out to Mikhail. Always early, always great to see you. Father Christopher Miller, thanks for joining us. He's here, or he's watching Looney Tunes on HBO Max before the stream goes live. Are you watching the old stuff or the new stuff? I've heard the new stuff's actually pretty funny, like the Looney Tunes show or whatever it is, but I haven't checked it out. We've got, all right, now it's my turn to butcher his name, even though I always make fun of John for doing it. Revuel Arvida, I hope I got that right. Hashtag the fandom menace. And dude, I've always meant to say this, love your Nerve avatar. I'm a huge Eva fan, huge Eva nerd. It makes me smile every time I see it. We've got Mr. Anime 343. Roman's here. He's excited, but that wasn't the comment I wanted to pull up. Bounding into Comics is late for some reason. At this point, I'd like to say first time. No, we're just a little late because Don and I had to get some admin stuff on the site taken care of on the back end. But we're here. We're here for our 3-hour stream. We're not cutting it short. And we're happy to see everybody. All right. And then, oh, no, I'm here now. 40s and 50s Looney Tunes from Father Christopher Miller. Those are good.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
I heard something or read something recently that, like, when the first Bugs Bunny cartoon to have him chewing on a carrot and going, "What's up, Doc?" was aired, it, like, was in a theater and people went ballistic. Like, they just lost their minds. Like, I'm sure everybody here knows of at least that clip of fans in the, like, premiere screening of Endgame where they see Captain America pick up the hammer and they all go, "Oh my God," and they lose it. That's literally how people were when Bugs Bunny went, "What's up, Doc?" And I think that's incredible. I don't want to live there, but I'd love to take a vacation to a time when people were blown away by something that simple.
Yeah, if I can remember, it's when Bugs Bunny had the yellow gloves.
Yeah, dude, he had the original design.
Yeah, and then if you're watching it on HBO Max, I'm wondering if they edit any of the more controversial parts.
Well, I know Warner Brothers was really good about it on their DVD sets from, like, a couple years ago, where their warning basically said, like, they had a warning before some episodes, and it was like, this, yes, we recognize there's some iffy stuff in here, but that was the culture of the times. We're going to leave it in here because we want to respect the art. That's it. You can choose to watch it or not. So hopefully they stick with that. But I also feel like they just backpedaled or censored something else recently. So who knows?
Remember
Elmer's gun. They took away Elmer's gun. They haven't censored it, but they took it away from the character.
I remember back in the early 90s, they were doing a replay of the old Looney Tunes show, and it was like a race between the tortoise and the hare. So you got the tortoise, and then you got Bugs Bunny. At the end of the race, Bugs Bunny chastises his group for not holding off the turtle from winning. And then all of them line up. One of them takes a gun and shoots all of them through the head.
Really?
Later on in the 90s, that part was cut out.
No.
So it started back then because it,
I mean,
it was shortly after Columbine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They just like, okay, we're not going to have that. So, I mean, even back then, you had some editing done to preserve the
90s were the 90s were like the height of it, and now we're seeing it again. And
right.
I don't like it. I don't think anybody likes it. Oh yeah, this is now it has the power of the internet behind it.
Yeah.
So now all like regular average people get to voice their opinions, and sometimes we don't need to hear them. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Father Christopher Miller said the warning is also on the Droopy DVD and Tex Avery Volume 1 and 2 Blu-rays.
Wow.
I presumed. Also, Elmer Fudd and Bug singing Camptown Ladies in blackface. I've seen that clip. I actually think it's pretty funny. Right. Obviously offensive, but still pretty funny. I'm probably going to get in trouble for that. But and then, hey, what's up, Toy Bounty Hunters? Toy Bounty Hunters. Thanks for sending me the video earlier. I forgot to reply, but that was really interesting. They have a video up about the influence of Toku and Marvel, and it's really cool. I recommend everybody checking it out on the channel. But it's great to see you. What's up, HBG3 with a with a very great avatar? Awesome to see you. All right. I guess we can start with what have we been up to this week? Don, I'll let you take the wheel, and I won't pressure you on anything. I don't care if you read. I don't care if you played. What'd you do this week?
Okay, so whatever. It's been a busy week at work. As you could tell, I've gotten a few more gray hairs. Maybe you can't tell. But aside from that, getting the word of the day going on my channel. We're going to get
those are great.
More content on my channel. Damn, some daily stuff. And it's got to, I've been trying to find words that are relevant to the conversations that are being had around the day. So day one was the German word, which seemed to be rotating around the hemisphere at that point because of a certain former senator that we'll talk about, and Gina Carano. And then day two, it just happened to be something that really we'll talk about later too, in relation to YouTube, the ability to be criticism.
Yes.
And I didn't see a lot of views on that one. So go watch my video. I need more views on the second video. I need some encouragement, guys. Come on.
Yeah, dude, go check out
ego.
I definitely recommend. I recommend not only checking it out but subscribing. Don is apparently, so he says he's going to put more effort into these daily videos. Not more effort, but he's going to more regularly produce content, which is awesome because the word of the day stuff has been great so far. And then of course your drawing streams were great. I also like that one unboxing stream you did. You're good at unboxings.
Yeah.
I mean that one was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
It's probably one of only like 3 unboxings I've ever watched, but it was the one that I didn't click out of.
It's because it's Marvel cards. That's why.
That's because it's you. Gotta support the homies when you can.
But that's what I've got going on. What do you got going on?
Good. That's good stuff to have going on. I mean, keeping busy, build that YouTube channel. Nothing. Yeah, can't ask for any more than that, right?
Right.
As for myself, it's been a really busy week on my end. As we all know, John is currently on vacation, so I have been running Bounding. I've been doing our live streams, our daily stupids, most of the articles, our editing. It's been nuts, but it's been a lot of fun, especially because you guys make it all worth it with, getting to hang out with you, hearing your commentary, seeing you guys on Twitter. It's great. I do want to make a note that I know there's a lack of daily stupid this week, and I blame YouTube. So Don and I did our daily stupid stream yesterday, which is something new that we at Bounding Into Comics are doing every Tuesday. We're gonna have a little live stream to go through the daily stupid. Everybody on staff picks one article, brings it together, we go over it. It's actually a lot of fun. But Don and I did it this week, so we got our Tuesday one covered. On that night, before we went on, I submitted, which I guess was yesterday. I don't know why I'm saying that night. Yesterday, before we went on, I uploaded today's, Wednesday's Daily Stupid, and submitted it, instantly demonetized, obviously. It's just what YouTube does. But then I set it for review. It's been over 24 hours, and it's still held up. John, I had to contact John, interrupt his vacation, and talk to him about it, but we literally don't know what's going on. So Daily Stupids are not canceled. They're not on hiatus while John's gone. I'm still doing them. Blame YouTube, because this is one of the dumbest things they've done this week. Obviously, there's something really dumb they did that we'll get into, but that's really what that's what's going on with the Daily Stupid. That's really what I've been up to. In the meantime, I've been able to pick up, what is it called? Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. I had to look at the box. It's right here. Yeah, I got it for Christmas. I finally found the time to bust it open, and so far so good. I've only done literally one mission, but yes, finally the bell. But yeah, that's really what I've got going on, guys. Let's see what you guys have going on in the chats. Father Christopher Miller, my word after everything is done on Sunday, pixelated. Daily Stupid for the Senator. Oh yeah, she I wouldn't even put her on Daily Stupid because she deserves her own thing. Because her entire shtick was really bad, and we'll get into it later on in the stream, guys. I promise.
And a certain prime minister.
Oh yeah, we should definitely get into our northern neighbors really bad.
I can't believe we missed that.
Yes,
I guess it was kind of breaking.
I guess it was kind of breaking, and it was also Canada. Like I'll admit I missed a foreign event because it's not my country.
No one cares about Canada.
But no, I recognize that YouTube me. I'm doing double duty, and it made my hosting awkward. Yeah, I can't be as charismatic as John, and we miss him every day while we're here. Okay, that made him sound like he's dead.
Wow.
It did. When I said we miss him every day here, we do miss him. I know he's having a great vacation. He's out with his wife and daughter visiting family. So I'm doing my best. I hope I can at least get a couple laughs out of you guys. But thanks for joining anyway, YouTube me. Let's see. She admitted her own culpability. Yeah, the senator. Yeah, we'll get into it. And then Chris Neville, what's up, buddy? With the best avatar on the stream, or at least in the running. Canada will likely have an election later this year for a new prime minister.
Oh, hell yeah.
That would, I mean, I don't know anything about the Canadian government system, but I do know that I do not like Trudeau. He's a jackbutt. Caught myself.
You know what? Okay, there was an update on
yes, I saw that
on Twitter from YouTube saying
I'll pull that up. Yeah.
A lot of those words now we're gonna let them slide.
Which is really, really odd considering what they just did.
Yeah.
Was it on their YouTube or was it YouTube creators?
I think it was the YouTube, the main, or was it Team YouTube?
Might have been Team YouTube.
But yeah,
I hate how they have like 9 different Twitter accounts for everything. Yes, found it.
It's so weird. So I guess the S word, the F word,
the A word.
I mean, given proper context for using those words, I guess.
Yeah, in case. Yeah, let's. I guess we can make this.
I didn't read it, so I'm like, I got a gist of what.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a good jumping off point. I think we should get into that. We should take a look at it really quick. If I could find the YouTube with stream or the window with StreamYard open. The curse of being an editor. You have 9 million tabs open at all times. And there we are. And here we are. Yeah, so this tweet came out today from YouTube, Team YouTube. News for monetizing creators. We've updated our ad-friendly guidelines to allow more green dollar signs instead of yellow on videos with moderate profanity, adult humor, and non-graphic discussions of controversial issues. With these changes, more videos can earn money and meet advertiser guidelines. These updates will apply to new uploads moving forward and will automatically re-review recent uploads. So that sounds good, right? It sounds like they're going to be a little more lenient on profanity, on adult humor, non-graphic discussions of controversial issues, which is great because I'm sure everybody in the sphere, all of you watching have seen or heard complaints about why is my video demonetized? I was just talking about the election, Justin Trudeau, COVID, hey, let's try it out right now, COVID, and they always got super dinged. Like I know it happens on our back end all the time. Hence why the Daily Stupid is held up very regularly. So, but here's my thing with this is that in light of what YouTube announced yesterday, this seems like, what's the word? Like an apology almost, or like not an apology, but
no,
like they're running cover.
Yeah, they're covering their ass, or no, I wouldn't even say that. It's just
What's the? I think you and I are on the same.
Yeah, it's the trade-off. Like, oh,
Yeah.
here's all these wonderful jewelries and gifts. It's the Kobe treatment to his ex-wife or his wife at the time
Yeah.
after he went to Colorado. It's like, here's a big ass diamond ring. I cheated on you.
My bad. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Here's a nice shiny thing. That's actually really apt. I love that. But in case anybody didn't know or didn't catch our daily stupid stream yesterday, YouTube has decided to run a little experiment, which is not getting rid of, sorry. Now on videos, you will not see dislikes. A creator can still see the dislikes on a video on the studio end in the back, but viewers will no longer be able to see what a dislike is on a video. And we speculated, so this article was actually written last night by Josh Berger, one of our new writers. He's fantastic. I hope everybody checks out his work. But he wrote this last night, and then I guess sometime in the interim, so he wrote this last night. He speculated that this was done by some sort of influence from Disney and Lucasfilm, considering that, as we always talk about, their videos get creamed whenever they upload them by dislikes, by comments, all of them quoting either Gina Carano saying, "I'm not the only one who's been bullied by this company," and what's the other one? Oh, it's a quote from the Forbes article about everything, saying it's the one about like Disney having shoddy management, like it's a bad decision, blah blah blah. So that's what Josh and actually I and probably other people speculated in the interim. But it turns out, I'm going to look up the source for this. It came from the Biden White House.
Yep.
Like the Biden White House asked them to get rid of the dislike button because apparently their video, like the official White House videos, were getting creamed as well.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
I mean, I can't tell which one is worse looking at the Star Wars homepage or the White House homepage because they're both in like the low 30s and 20s.
Oof.
And they're downvoted into oblivion. Nobody likes the videos. And okay, Star Wars, they got some pretty crappy content. I think the Christina Ariel thing, it was only one show, and then
two now.
Okay.
Remember, they released it either the day before yesterday or yesterday because I mentioned it on stream. I was like, "Do you remember? I can't believe they released a new one."
Wow.
I know exactly. Wow.
Like once a 2-month show, I guess. Anyway, but yeah. But the rest of the stuff, it's like, okay, we're going to introduce you to a new character and downvote. I guess like the
straight downvotes, yeah.
The rock one, Geode. Freaking downvoted to oblivion. Did they do the? Oh, well, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, everything's getting downvoted to oblivion on Star Wars, and I think for the White House probably had that before they fired Gina Carano. So I'm thinking they might have a little bit edge on that one.
I definitely think they have a little bit of edge, but here's almost where I come in with it is like they have an edge. I don't know if you would call it popularity wise, but like
infamous.
Infamy wise. But the White House doesn't really care about YouTube I mean, this is obviously contradictory considering that what's happening is happening. But to me, it seems like the White House, if let's say for some reason they got banned from YouTube, they wouldn't really care. They'd go, "This sucks." I mean, obviously they'd fight it, whatever. Bear with me, guys. This is a really simple metaphor. I'm not going to get into all of the octopus arms of this. But if they got removed from YouTube or they decided YouTube wasn't a good avenue for them, it wouldn't really bother them because guess what? They're the White House. People are going to listen somehow, whether it's through ABC or the White House's official site. But I feel like Disney being an entertainment company and a public-facing one that wants to promote this image of like fan enjoyment, fan community or support. Obviously, my brain is breaking because I can't think of the right term, but I feel like they care more about YouTube dislikes than than the White House. So that's just that's just what I say. I imagine it's probably like a combination of like government people, corporations, specifically Disney, and their top creators who are more neo-leftist leaning, so they care more about all the critical social justice theory and race theory, because those are the ones who complain the most. Those are the ones who are always saying, I'm being harassed, I'm being racisted at kind of like Christina Ariel or Zombie Kills, if anybody knows that saga. But yeah, no, that's definitely what I think is going on YouTube. But it sucks. It's like Don got into in his piece in the Daily Stupid and on the stream. You're taking away like a very big voice for fans. And how are people going to know content's bad? I know a lot of content creators were responding that taking away the dislike will make it harder for people to like identify scams and things that like don't work, which is that's valid.
There was this guy who made a valid point of, I only have so much time in the day. Those downvotes helps me to filter out things that really aren't worth my time to watch.
Yeah.
Then actually Team YouTube came back and said, you know what, that's actually a valid point. We'll look into it and see how this experiment pans out. And it's just like, okay, that means they got some bigger bucks behind whoever's making the decision to have this experiment being run. Because he also made an interesting point of, well, I'm fine with it. My feelings aren't being hurt or my mental well-being isn't being hurt because of what, downvotes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So where was my voice?
Good point. Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, yeah, it's clearly cutting out a large swath of creators, because it's not even just creators that are like in our sphere. I've been seeing creators from like BreadTube or like the political side of YouTube and like the Transformers, like everybody is, or mostly everybody rather, hates this. And I don't know, I cannot recall, and maybe the chat can help us out, or maybe Don, I can't think of a single time YouTube announced a feature or like a website update and rolled it back. Like I've heard they run experiments. I know Twitter runs experiments, but that's Twitter, it's not YouTube. And every time they experiment, it either gets fully implemented or a part of it gets implemented. So I wonder if this is going to turn into a voluntary thing. but then that is almost worse.
Yeah.
Because then if it's voluntary and the creator does it, then it shows that creator is afraid of the backlash, is playing victim, is doing something. And I don't know. I just think that's super unfair. I mean, who knows? I don't think anybody likes this. I don't like this. And I'm not even a YouTube creator.
So, okay. The only thing I don't understand about this is if you are... if you're part of the experiment, does the page that you're on show up differently for you?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Versus like somebody, or does it affect only your page? So like your videos, they'll get that special treatment rather than your ability to upvote and downvote or dislike and like.
That's a good point. Yeah, I have no idea. Obviously, like I don't have. Maybe you'll be part of the experiment, Don, and you'll be able to tell us. You know what? I bet I would love for this to be randomly assigned, like who gets into the experiment, because I know it's not. It's clearly not. But if it were truly random, the person I would love to see get it is Az from Heels versus Babyface. He would lose it and also abuse it, and it would be fantastic for the week that he had it.
Yeah, either Az or the Quartering.
Oh, the Quartering would lose it. Dude, if they... oh, man. Both would be great.
But the only people I see getting it, White House, Star Wars, news agencies.
News agencies. Wow. Okay.
Because you see them on the front page. They always get promoted. Like, I didn't subscribe to ABC. I didn't subscribe to NBC. I didn't subscribe to CNBC. I didn't subscribe to any of these guys, but you always put them on the front of my freaking referral list for whatever reason.
Right.
Up and above over the content that I actually want to see. I want to see like Culture Casino's 6-minute daily. I actually want to see like the Nerdrotic Nooner. I actually want to see the
like Ryan Kindle or
the real BBC, Ryan Kindle's RK Outpost. Some of the stuff from Drunk HBO. I want to see those guys and their content up front and center,
and not Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, not Jimmy Kimmel.
No, and you're completely right, because I think you touched upon this yesterday. The ecosystem right now is trash because everything that's promoted, every creator or channel that they care about right now are the late night programs, the news outlets, the big people. I said yesterday that a lot of these, when we were talking about Twitch and the problem there, I said, like, it's exactly what I said, which is these platforms love to court, in their early stages, they'll court themselves as sort of grassroots. We're here for the creator using our platform. On Twitch, we're here for the gamers. On YouTube, we're here for the content creators. Then it gets big. Then it attracts the attention of these big corporations. And then these platforms go, I don't care about you, like creators. Yeah, you helped us get here, but you're not pulling in as much money as Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon. So why do I care? And so they do everything in their power to make sure that those corporations have a nice experience here. And everybody else kind of gets like the middle finger, just honestly.
Dude, Krasinski, when he joined YouTube, for like all but 5 minutes that he was on YouTube.
So crap.
Just tons and tons of views. And that was probably great for YouTube.
Oh yeah, YouTube absolutely loved it, I'm sure.
Fantastic. But then he left. Got his own actual show syndicated.
And then that was you know what? I was mad at his decision to do that because like I didn't care about good news or whatever. Like I didn't watch it. It wasn't something that appealed to me. I'm not a
you're not a good news person?
I'm not a 19-year-old like white girl in college who just discovered Marx. Like I don't care about that kind of fluff. So I never watched it. I thought that was cool for him to do. But then I remember being like, wow, what a crappy move when he signed on to CBS Viacom, like for an actual show. Like they bought the rights to Good News and nobody liked it. Everybody was mad. And so they canned the project. But Krasinski still got paid and he doesn't have to do Good News anymore. So, got to game recognize game. I'm going to turn to the chat real quick because you guys are on fire tonight. You guys are super vocal. I love it. Let's see. I know YouTube me. I know you weren't judging me. I know it was like praise comment. It's just something I also recognize. Like I am definitely flustered. I am stretched, but again, I love it. I'm having lots of fun. Wouldn't be anywhere else on a Wednesday.
I judge.
Oh yeah, you should add judge to your spiel at the end.
I'm the harshest critic.
Let's see. Oh, what's up, Rowan? Hope someone who cares about individualism runs there. Just nuts. Oh, Canada. Yeah. Good luck. It's getting increasingly rare to see anybody who cares about individualism. I mean, just looking how we talk about the most recent string of tragedies that have happened in America, like none of them are about personal responsibility, like the person who committed the act. It's all about the society. We live in one. It's all society's fault. It's history's fault. It's W supremacy, or why am I censoring white? It's white supremacy. It's nobody cares about individualism anymore. It's something that makes me really mad. Aren't you cleared after 7 minutes? I think, or like 21, right, Don?
It was like 30.
Yeah, it's something like that. John always tries to keep us on a leash at 30. So that's all I've known. Again, I'm not a YouTube creator. I have no idea, and Don doesn't do many live streams. So I know like your content is like produced content, so you don't get into that same ding, I think, right?
I don't think I've even sworn on the on my word of the day.
No, I don't think you have.
Huh.
Toy Bounty Hunters. Trudeau looks like the kind of guy that sits down when he pees and cries himself to sleep after having the sexy time.
Wow.
He does. He also looks like Fidel Castro, but Lopter, did you or Mercado, did you not see or hear me in the beginning? You were the first person I gave a shout out to, buddy. But I'll give you another one again. What's up, Mercado? You're again always love to see you here early. We love to see you in the chat. Let's see what else do we have. Yeah, well, that nonsense helps none of us in low numbers and subs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not for you. Kind of like what Don and I were just talking about. This is for Biden. This is for Ray. This is for Captain
Kimmel.
Marvel, Kathleen Kennedy. It's not for you. Let's see what else we got. Roof Korean. Looks like Google sent out the April 1st video early. Even Google cannot tell an April Fool's joke properly. LOL, less demonetization and censorship. Not a chance in hell. That's actually, oh man, that's not a bad point. It is bad timing that Team YouTube announced the opening up of like restrictions on April Fool's Day. Oh, what if they could be super like jackassy and like 10 years from now, not 10 years, but like 10 months from now, go like, oh yeah, like everybody's going, why am I getting dinged? I thought you opened up the restrictions, and then go, that was an April Fool's joke, duh. Why do you think we did it on April 1st? Like, I could see him doing that. That'd be fun. I would laugh, but I'd also be very angry.
I'm trying to think of anything worthwhile that has happened over April 1st with these big companies, and I can't think of anything. Like the Hub. They had the corn version.
Yes, that was funny.
First, there was a time on Reddit where the entire community created this huge mural out of pixels.
I remember that. That was cool.
And it was just bomb. Just people like, they were actually like, hey, I want to do this space for this thing. Can you not cringe upon that? And then you can have this area over here. And then there were like alliances forming, and then people like, okay, wow. And it turned out to be this crazy, crazy mural. And I never had anything like that ever again on Reddit.
So while we haven't had, sorry, I'm skipping around. While we haven't had like a good, the best prank I saw was 343 Industries, the people who do Halo, actually convinced everyone that Halo Infinite was delayed again, like to the point where Famitsu just ran an article like 10 minutes before we got on about the announcement, which is pretty funny to me. What else? There was Capcom brought back like a like this cute little puzzle cat game with all their Street Fighter characters, but we're not really allowed to have April Fools anymore because nobody understands what a joke is. I'm sure you guys all saw the tweet I had up a second ago, but this is Nathan Bomney. He is a USA Today business reporter. Yesterday or today, Volkswagen, or throughout the week, Volkswagen sort of set up this elaborate prank where they said, we're going to rename Volkswagen to Volkswagen, V-O-L-T. And everybody kind of ran with it. We're like, oh my gosh, they're renaming. And then today they were like, April Fools. This was really just to promote our new Volkswagen electric cars. Pretty good prank, not pretty innocent, honestly. Like a couple letters change. This dude loses it. Like, the tweet's been up for a little bit now, so I'm sure some of you have read it. It gets worse. There's an entire thread under here. So Nathan Bomey takes to Twitter. Dear Volkswagen, you lied to me. You lied to AP, CNBC, Reuters, and various trade pubs. This was not a joke. It was deception. In case you hadn't noticed, we have a misinformation problem in this country. Now you're part of it. Why should anyone trust you again? I asked my VW source directly. Yes, I see the announcement, but this is a joke, right? No, it's not a joke, he said. Now they admit it was. I am astonished that a company that just a few years ago, mind you, paid $30 billion in penalties and pled guilty to criminal charges for deceiving its customers and regulators to pollute the earth now thinks it's funny to lie to reporters. To everyone out there celebrating the fact that VW lied to reporters, including me, we have common ground. Like you, I desperately want to restore trust in journalism. That's why it's so critical that we must be able to trust our sources. Without it, misinformation flourishes. Dude, it is a joke.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Dude.
Like, you fell for an April Fool's joke. That's on you. Like, this is not this is not misinformation. This is not disinfo. You need to chill out, man. Like, you got pranked. Oh no. Just update your damn article. I'm pretty sure he wrote an article about it.
Wait, what was that? There's another blue check mark that responded to him.
That said, Nathan, yeah, I do have to admit you seem to be overreacting a bit here. VW was early for April Fools, and their prank is pretty dumb. But this isn't on the same level as lying about emissions, right? Like, dude, we all knew it was a joke. It's dumb. And for anybody who doesn't know what he's talking about when he's talking about how Volkswagen lied, a couple years ago they lied about the efficiency of their catalytic converters in a bunch of their cars. So the smog output from them was like way below accepted standards in America. And they lied about it, put these cars into production, huge pollution thing, got caught by, I think, like, I forget who caught them, but basically went to court, got fined, and that was that, right? So again, this is just a prank. Like, it's VOLT. They changed one letter in their name.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. This is definitely going into Daily Stupid. This is a preview for you guys, but with Don talking about April Fools, I just had to bring this up because I cannot stop thinking about it. I cannot. The man was owned so bad. Like, he's corn cobbing. Like, he just, like, I'm not owned. I scream as I slowly shrink into a corn cob. That's him. And it's just sad, guys. Like, let's knock this off. We don't need this.
Now because of Nathan Bomney's little flare up there, I'm considering buying a Volkswagen for my next car. I'm just
actually, it's funny. I wonder if you'll want to. Oh man, what was it? Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to ruin it because.
And if Volkswagen wants to advertise their vehicles in our live streams,
I'll even wear an emblem as a necklace. Just get some bling on me.
We can chill. Volkswagen are the best vehicle.
Article.
I'm sure Nathan Bomney has chilled for a few companies before. I mean, he does work for who?
This is USA Today.
So yeah, I mean, they're owned by some major corporation.
They're all owned by the same person, Thanos. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, it was The Verge.
Oh.
I have such a weird opinion about The Verge. Sometimes they're really good and grounded, and they just give you straight information, and sometimes they are bonkers because they took after Nathan and pushed an entire article. Volkswagen of America lied about rebranding to Volkswagen. Like, they just lose it. Where, like, it's all about this. Where do they really get into it? Various Volkswagen's various social media accounts also promoted the lie. Like, they're just calling it a lie now. No fun allowed. That's where we are now. Like, hit that sign into the ground. So not only are they saying they promoted the lie, but of course, because it's something they don't like, they had to bring up their Nazi connections for no reason, noting that when VW tweeted an image of the fake Volkswagen logo, they said 66 is an unusual age to change your name. And that's a nod to how old they've been working or how long they've been working in America. But of course, Verge goes, that's a nod to the age of the American subsidiary, not the larger Volkswagen Group, which was founded in the 1930s before it became part of the Nazi war machine. Like, who? Like, what is the point of that? It's kind of like, do you guys remember a year or two back when that guy, I think he was at either a college football or an NFL game, and he had the sign that was like, Venmo me money for Coors Light. And he ended up getting like hundreds of thousands of donations, and he bought like one case of Bud Light and then donated all the rest to some children's charity. And when, I forget which outlet it was, they broke the story. They were like, meet yada yada, the Venmo Coors Light guy. And they talked about him and his charity work. And then for no reason, they were like, oh, when he was like 17, 18, 19, he made some questionable tweets on Twitter. And it was like, why are you bringing that up? What is the point? What do you gain from this? This is not information that it's not relevant. Like, has nothing to do. I don't know. It's so dishonest.
Right. The American News Agency and the journalists of America, dude, they put up an article about something today. Oh, I can't talk about it. They put up an article about something today, THR. It's just like, okay, so they had to put an article out about that because they are so desperate for news.
We're talking about the one you just sent me, right? Before we hopped on stream.
No, the one I just told you about. But
yeah. We can't talk about that.
Yeah,
right now.
but it's just like they're so desperate for news.
Guys,
they have to talk about this thing that only this small, very rich but small contingency of Americans actually care about.
That's the thing. Nobody really cares about this. Like, and like, look right here. But now we know the rebrand was nothing more than another lie from a company that's been known for something else. Lying. Like, get over yourself. The company has since confirmed that this was a lie in service of a marketing stunt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. Like, I hate it. I hate somebody should have wedgied him when he was a child because this is ridiculous.
Anyway,
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's tune in. Yeah, we'll get YouTube sucks. Well, it doesn't suck, but they're making a lot of questionable decisions that clearly are not for our benefit. What are you guys doing in the chat, huh? Let's see.
okay.
Twitter is pathetic. I always disliked it. It's literally a group chat with about 1,000 people who are members. Yeah, that's super accurate. John and I bring it up all the time. Only about like 1 or 2% of Americans are on Twitter. It's not that many people. And I'm sure the stats are similar for every other country across the world, Egypt, Sudan, Europe, whatever. So that's why it's so bizarre that all of these that's why like I've started to believe John's theory that these corporations have been infiltrated, because any smart businessman or woman or whomever would recognize that. Why are we listening to these people? Like, shut up. Like, I don't care. You're a minority, like a minority voice, guys. Okay. Don't take that out of context. Like, your opinions don't represent everybody, but the fact that they're so willing to, bend like that makes me feel like there's some inside help.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You don't bend unless you have similar views yourself,
Yeah, exactly. NBC is pushing that fair reporting is overrated. It's not moral to report or give airtime to the wrong opinion. Why does it feel like we are just speeding over a cliff with Stevie Wonder driving? Are you serious? Is that a real article they put out today? I'll try and find that, but that's nuts.
That would probably go into the Daily Stupid.
Oh, that's an absolute Daily Stupid candidate.
Fair reporting.
Let's see.
They've been fair report. They had as their headline, as their ad, as their everything.
Their slogan, yeah.
To the current times that we live in. Fair reporting.
Oh, wow. They actually did say it. Lester Holt said it. Here, I'll pull it up. I just found it.
Oh, of course, Lester Holt.
I know, of course, Lester Holt. Source is going to be Fox News on this one, guys. So whatever your opinions on it, we're just here for the facts. Yeah, NBC News anchor Lester Holt received praise from liberal media figures after saying, reporters don't need to hear both sides of a story before determining the truth. I think it's become clear that fairness is overrated. The idea that we should always give two sides equal weight and merit does not reflect the world we find ourselves in. What? I don't even know what to say. That the sun sets in the west is a fact. Any contrary view does not deserve our time or attention. Decisions to not give unsupported arguments equal time are not a dereliction of journalistic responsibility or some kind of agenda. In fact, it's just the opposite. Providing an open platform for misinformation for anyone to come say whatever they want, especially when issues of public health and safety are at stake, can be quite dangerous. Before declaring the duty of reporters is to be fair to the truth.
Okay, question.
Oh, wow. And then Don Lemon. Oh,
Of
never
course,
mind.
Don
That was his thing in January. It's not new.
Oh,
They're just
but
referencing
still,
it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, Don
Lemon's
Lemon.
like, yes, yes, yes.
Don Lemon probably wrote that for him.
But no, it's just like, okay, so truth. Oh, the truth is always a very trepidatious thing. You're not going to find it on one side or the other. You're always going to find it after a careful analyzation and a critical analysis of two sides of a story. You're only going to listen to women and believe all women, then what does the guy got to say?
Unless you're Kamala Harris.
Yeah, the guy is going to go to jail either way. You're going to listen to, you're going to listen to the minority and not listen to the minority that was beaten up during a freaking a police apprehension, not
Right.
the police report. Then you're also going to be skewed in your understanding of what the real truth is. This just means that the journalism is as a how do I put this? The fourth estate, the ideal
I knew it.
of
Yeah.
journalism, which John says never was going to happen. And I'm probably along those lines too, but it's always a great ideal. Edward R. Murrow
always.
talked, freaking he exemplified it as much as he could during his time for war reporting. Those guys in the early days of journalism, they were looking for the truth wherever it could be found and however deep it was buried. And they didn't take the surface level explanation of what it was. So Lester Holt is essentially saying that whatever the activism thing is of the times, that's the truth.
No, you're completely on point. It is saying that the narrative is more important than the facts. And it's just like you've said, how many times, again, even in just the last week, if you want to get that specific, have we seen stories propagate that didn't have the full facts, that didn't, show the whole picture? It's almost every single event. Like any breaking event gets, what's the word? Like something happens, social media makes an assumption, they run with it, it gets propagated and then accepted as fact by like the normies, right? And how hard is it to push back against that? I mean, trying to talk about again, let's test this out, YouTube, trying to talk about the Boulder suspect and his crime, you get shot down as a white supremacist if you try to push back against anybody saying that he's a white person, right? Like, or the Asian hate stuff that Don and I just talked about with our good friend Drew Taylor on Sunday. How many times we literally looked at Daniel Day Kim, who tweeted two images, one of a white suspect in an Asian hate crime and one of a black suspect in an Asian hate crime, and got railed by Twitter for almost seemingly just daring to show the other black or like the black suspect. Daniel Day didn't say anything negative. He was just factual. He said, this guy's a criminal and he assaulted this woman, and Twitter lost it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this is. This is support for that. They want that. They want that. They want the narrative to be easily accepted, because right now, and this is what's dumb, right now, the power is on their side. The social, I mean, not everybody, obviously, but like the social wave, the social climate is exactly what they want. So, of course, everything seems fine. Let's lay down all these rules to make it better for us. But it's kind of like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I'm just bringing up the story for the story. I know John would be really happy, but it's from the Bible. We learn in like Genesis, I believe, that Satan is powerful, but he cannot do anything unless God does it first. Everything he does is an imitation, right? So God kind of has the power to not give Satan power, right? So that's kind of how it is in American or not just American politics, but any politics. If you have one group or one side in power, like, you know, kind of like ending the or what's a good way to put it? I don't really have a good analogy, and I'd probably sit here for like 4 minutes of dead air trying to think really hard. But I think you guys know what I mean, where one side
power to this side that has the narrative.
Right, exactly. This is giving power to them.
Here's the thing: by paying attention to it, by giving it more attention, we're at, whether it be good or bad. They say that all publicity is good publicity, even the negative one.
Clearly
so
not anymore.
when our website was featured in the trending for Twitter,
yes.
Guess what? It still blew up for us.
Mm-hmm. It was
even
good.
though we were portrayed in a negative light, even though they didn't portray any of the tweets that were happening by Christina Ariel to give context to the whole situation. It was why we called her a bigot, why we labeled her as a racist.
Right.
Because of anti-racist ideologies.
Anti-racist.
Yeah. So
love that term.
Because we were attacked by a major corporation, by a lot of people who are in the cultural zeitgeist, the social landscape, the sphere of whatever this bullshit is. We got a little bit of spotlight.
It was nice. Yeah.
And like I said, bad news is also good news. So if we are affected by this, if we're affected by anything of these guys coming at us with something negative, and we highlight that, guess what? They also get a little shine too. The ultimate thing is to avoid and to ignore and to let them fade into nothing. If eventually this is what's going to happen, we're going to have to say, Star Wars, I'm not interested in anything that you have to offer me anymore. You want to offer me the Ahsoka story. That's not the Ahsoka that I know from
Clone Wars,
even Clone Wars.
Yeah.
You changed it. I'm not interested. Oh, you want to introduce EU stuff. This is not the EU stuff that I grew up with in the comics.
It's
I'm
the
not
EU.
Interested.
It's literally that meme. Mom, I want some EU. We have EU at home. EU at home is Disney EU.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, well, what do we have in place of it? We have things that are coming out that might be more interesting. We have Berserker by Keanu Reeves coming out. We have, for the time being, Superman and Lois is pretty decent.
For the time being, yeah. Oh, damn. Hold on, time out real quick. Meant to say this at the top. I also know I owe everybody a Superman and Lois review for last week's episode, but again, it's written, it's recorded. I just got to do all the video editing for it. Just want to let you guys know it's still coming. Sorry, Don.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, we're going to eventually choose some good stuff, but the good stuff is far and few in between. So at some point, also, we have to create our own shits.
And I mean, we saw that with the rise of Comicsgate, which is still going. Lots of, and outside of Comicsgate, you have like Berserker, obviously. The one I love to point to is Power Rangers from Boom Studios. Like, they did a Kickstarter campaign, and even though all of the industry cried about it, it showed that there's demand for this product. Like, obviously the fans want it, which is good, because fans should be the ones driving what you are producing to a certain extent, guys. Obviously, like, don't let them dictate what you're creating, but obviously you want to listen to them. Otherwise you end up with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But I wanted to touch on that, like, good, like, there's no such thing, like, all publicity is good publicity. I don't think they see that like this anymore. Like, look at what Lester Holt's saying. Look at that reporter who we just covered, Derek or whatever. I already forgot his name. Brandon. Bomney. Yeah, Bomney, his last name. Look at freaking The Verge. Like, they no longer see, like, nobody can. nobody has the integrity to accept things gracefully and be like, yeah, I messed up. So every time they get bad publicity, they fight against it. They go, no, I have to change the rules for everything so that this isn't bad publicity. It's just nothing, so that I am safe. And in doing so, they 9 times out of 10 end up making themselves look like fools and just get railed on more and more and lose credibility. Like this guy, like Lester Holt, he has no credibility anymore. Don Lemon, freaking Jim Acosta, Brian Stelter. Like, yeah, these are all freaking Lester Holt's NBC, but the rest of them are CNN. But sorry, CNN anchors are 1000% like ideology driven.
Yeah.
No narrative facts at all. And I wanted to highlight. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just thinking to the point where we're no longer even paying attention to their madness. It's
right.
just like, oh, that's happening over there. I don't care. I got going on.
I would love to get to that point, honestly, like to just be like a sort of casual observer, just like sip my coffee on the porch, like, that's happening.
Like if enough people just stopped listening to that madness and we're listening to our madness instead, that would be great. That would be great. Like, okay, we've got our audience. We took them away from them. Like I said last week, every person that's watching this stream now, we're taking their eyes away from those channels and those streams and those live news reports.
Right.
Because one, we're not scripted. One, we're not fucking PC. And
and 2 and 3 or whatever number we're on, we don't think fairness is overrated.
Yeah. And 4, we're trying to be as genuine as possible with our shit.
We are genuine. I think one of the best things about our site, and yeah, I'm gonna jay us off a little bit, is that in every, whether John's writing or I'm writing or you're writing or Josh is writing or JB is writing or Drew is writing, all of our voices still come through, and it's all of our opinions and how we, what's the word, like how we view it. And, our views might not agree with each other half the time, or sometimes, I know John and I disagree sometimes, you and John, me and John, or me and you and Drew and everybody, right? But it's still us. And I think that that's way better than us having to toe some sort of narrative line and have our reporting and our writing mandated by, it's important for us to push this narrative specifically. And, shout out to John for being like one of the best bosses I've ever had and a fantastic editor in the fact that he doesn't do that. When I was looking or not, how should I preface this story? A couple months ago, I lost my job because of the whole pandemic, like my real job. And my mom was trying to help me find jobs or whatever. And one of the things she found was on monster.com a listing for a comic book website writer. And I was like, yeah, send it over to me. I'd love to check it out. And this was before I was like associate editor at Bounding and stuff. And it was for freaking CBR. And I felt really bad because I was like, Mom, I love you because this is so sweet. You actually are like going for something I care about, and you recognize my fandoms and stuff. But let me tell you about CBR. Like I couldn't do it. It made me feel so bad, but I was also laughing so hard. But what I wanted to highlight a couple seconds ago, or a few minutes ago, before Don and I got into that, is this comment by Mr. Anime 343 by Roman. Oh, by the way, buddy, let me know if you want me to use your real name, your screen name. I only use your real name because I see it on Twitter all the time. But he says, actually, you do. I mean, there is 2 sides of the story. I mean, look at Vic Mignogna and Johnny Depp. And I think those 2 examples are perfect for what we're talking about. Because Johnny Depp, you saw what happened in the beginning. The first wave of news about him was he is a wife beater. He abuses Amber Heard. He's violent. He's psychotic. All that stuff was rushing out in the very beginning. And now what have we learned almost, what's it been, like 2 or 3 years? 2 or 3 years later, we've learned Heard is awful. She throws bottles at him. She poops in their bed. She literally is caught on audio going, yeah, you're a man. Go ahead and say you got abused. Who's going to believe you? Whoop, come back. And it's like, wow. Imagine if there was no if fairness was overrated and they didn't give, I mean, they already didn't give both sides equal merit, but if it went to the extreme conclusion, you get Vic Mignogna, where accusations come out, no evidence is provided to anybody, like no evidence was provided to Funimation at the time or any of the other places he was employed at, and boom, you're gone. You are like, they canceled him, but they still won't let him live, right? Like, this is the best example of why cancel culture is bad. They wanted him fired. They said he's a creep, blah, blah, blah. And he got fired, removed from almost every voice acting job. But now they won't even let him exist. They demand, you know, if he wants to go do a solo signing at a comic book shop, the Kick Vic people will rail that comic shop and go, he's a sex creep, you know, all this, a sex pervert. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. He's going to make everybody uncomfortable. And it's like, and a lot of the times, the only time I've seen like conventions or these spaces push back is when fans pile on the counter evidence, which is at this point right now, Vic Mignogna is not guilty of anything. He in a court of law, he is not guilty. It's a huge, messy situation that would probably take up the entire live stream if I wanted to break it down. I've covered it since it started. You can check it out on Bounding Into Comics. But yeah, it's a perfect example, dude. Thanks for bringing those up. Because yeah, Johnny Depp is exactly what happened. You see, Johnny Depp is a case for what is going to start happening more and what is already happening. And Mignogna is the end game. And again, watch what happens when the Overton window of society shifts. And these people are no longer the cultural czars or kings or whatever. They're going to be the first to go, oh, whoa, give everybody equal weight. Like, chill out. Just like the freaking New York Times the other day with Tucker Carlson, when Tucker Carlson like criticized reporter Taylor Lorenz on his show. And this is the New York Times, the same outlet that like doxed an old grandma for supporting Trump, doxed a guy for making a meme about Trump, the wrestling meme where he was like photoshopped over the wrestler and like hitting NBC and CNN with a chair and stuff. Like, they doxed them for no reason. They literally have an article up today going, who are the jurors in the very controversial police justice case that's happening right now?
Oh,
like,
yeah, that one.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what they do. And then when they get the flack sent at them, it, you know, when Carlson mentioned Taylor Lorenz by name, all of those blue checkmark like journalists and corporate media journalists rushed to her aid and said, this is disgusting for a journalist, somebody who calls himself a journalist, to publish somebody's full name. All that's going to happen is harassment. And it's like, dude, what do you guys do this all the time? So that's, it's very frustrating. And I think Lester Holt is definitely going to make the next entry of the Daily Stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Rester Graham, the New York Times, the rag that promoted Sarah Jong for making social media posts about her hatred of white men. That's exactly it. This is not a the problem with these blue check marks, you know, whether they're influencers, celebrities, politicians, news anchors, the blue check mark, and of course you guys all know that blue check mark refers to a very specific type of people with blue check marks on their name. They are always constantly playing a game where they're changing the rules so that they win.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to keep happening. And I'm glad there's starting to be more pushback just around the sphere. It's not a lot, but I'm starting to see little sprouts here and there. And until those sprouts grow into trees, we're just going to keep seeing more of this, and it's going to be bad.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let's be fair. There are very few blue check marks that are up for some reasoning and some discussion and some understanding. No. But for the most part, man, they fall in line with the social political landscaping that's going on. So, yeah.
Well, it's just like John says all the time. It's about them. I mean, he mostly does it in reference to act like entertainment media, but it's for these people to they do it so that they can keep having access to things. Like like politicians to have interviews with, or celebrities, or whatever, or just that blue check mark on its own, because they know the second they're no longer protected by whatever outlet they're currently working for, New York Times, BuzzFeed, blah, 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 they know that now they're a target. Like it's literally, that's how the circle is drawn around that camp. And if you step outside of that border, you are persona non grata and you are a straight up target.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I miss Coca-Cola. First of all, what's up, Koge? Second, yeah, I guess I miss old Coca-Cola before they actively promoted Robin DiAngelo.
Oh.
Like, goodness.
Wait, I forget what Coca-Cola did recently.
Coca-Cola had the online training, and part of through LinkedIn, and part of their curriculum was a Robin DiAngelo training on how to be less white. That basically said, if you're a bad person, that means you're white or whatever. And
I can't keep up with all the virtue signaling.
It's so hard. It's so hard. And damn, I'm torn between, because that was a perfect jumping off point for the next topic, and torn between finishing my joke. But I'm just going to go to the next topic because that's too good of a moment to pass up. So speaking of virtue signaling, as I'm sure as everybody saw shortly before the stream started and in our thumbnail, we have a new cover for Star Wars The High Republic featuring these two guys. Or sorry, these two thems. That's completely on me. So Star Wars promotes a new The High Republic cover featuring, quote, trans non-binary Jedi twins in support of International Transgender Day of Visibility. Now, right, so these are the characters. They were in The High Republic #2. They're basically, they're called Bond twins. So,
wait a minute.
What's up?
Go back. What is that day called?
International Transgender Day of Visibility. So
That's
basically,
an actual fucking day.
Apparently it is, and the more I looked into it, apparently the goal is just to be visible as a trans person, to almost promote yourself. Like that's really all I saw on Twitter. It was like, hey, I'm I don't know, I'm Super Mario Luigi, and I'm trans. Like I guess it's like a pride day for them. I'm not entirely sure. That's not my wheelhouse. We could probably ask Mother Jones about it, or Pink News, but yeah, that's apparently what it is. Internationally, by the way.
Why do they both look like powder?
Well, that's okay. The powder, I don't know. They look the same because they're twins. I'll give them that. Like they are biologically related twins, and they have it. It's cool too. And I think I saw OG Star Wars girl talking about it, how it was already done in the EU, and I know it's been done in fiction a million times. But I do like the concept of how like two people who are like super connected, like, oh my. Like if you and I were Dawn, it'd be like, oh, Dawn got hurt. Oh, why am I feeling such pain?
Yeah,
like
it's been done.
Yeah, it's been done. I like it though. Like I just wanted to bring it up. It's the only cool thing about them, really. But so they introduced them in High Republic #2, and in High Republic #2, I got to go down to the bottom. They referenced their non-binary identity only in the scene where Chris goes over to Ro, Jedi Ro, and then Ro, I don't know what happened, Marshal Chris. He just cried out, and then Chris goes, not he, they. And a lot of people thought like it's a little open-ended. Some people thought it was non-binary. Some thought that they were referring to the fact that these two characters, Sarek and Tarek, which literally are just their names backwards, like one person's name is the other person's name backwards. And I also saw somebody on Twitter note that they are anagrams for the word erect. So I don't know what to do with that information, but it's there.
Where is it?
It's right here, Tarek. Oh yeah, there it is. I was waiting for it. I thought it wasn't worthy, and I was like, dang, I thought I got one. Yeah, so nobody knew if it was referring to them as like a plural thing or as non-binary. But then today we got this cover released of like very early Star Trek aliens. They look like the engineers from Prometheus, but way less ripped. And that makes me mad because Prometheus makes me mad. But yeah, so they posted this cover and they wrote, in honor of Trans Day of Visibility, we're proud to unveil an exclusive cover highlighting Tarek and Sarek, trans non-binary Jedi, currently featured in Marvel's The High Republic comic. We support trans lives and we are passionate and committed to broadening our representation in a galaxy far, far away. #TDOV. Okay. Pretty standard statement. But what I want to point out is that why is this virtue signaling? Because like normally, I'll admit, guys, I'm not as like if I see a trans character, I'm okay as long as they're written well. Like I just care about the individual character, not about the message, unless it's like in your face and obvious and it's awful. Blah, you guys know what I mean. But this right here is virtue signaling because they're doing what they always do. None of that was mentioned explicitly in the comic or in the source material. Nothing about them being trans. I mean, yeah, like we just went over, maybe non-binary, but nothing about them being trans. I even sat here. I did this for you. I sat here and I read all 3 issues of the High Republic. It sucks, but they don't talk about Tarek and Sarek being trans at all. But it's kind of like what we always see from Star Wars now. To get brownie points, they'll just tweet out a confirmation about the universe. It's you've seen it a million times in the wake of Rise of Skywalker with like Rey. Still, every time they bring up a fact about Rey, it's about how super duper great she is. And that's what this is. It's just another virtue signal. It's here's this thing. We want to take advantage of it. We want to take advantage of the social media fervor. And hey, trans people, we like you enough to give you 2 bald weirdos as your representation. And the other thing, and I don't know this, maybe somebody in the chat knows, but I'm pretty sure by the logistics of being non-binary, you can't be trans, right? Because trans requires you to go from one gender to another. So if you're neither gender, what are you transitioning to?
Wait a minute. That's an actual interesting point.
Yeah, right? Like, I don't know what they're talking about here.
Any trans people in the chat, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, let me know. Let me know if anybody knows if that's a thing. Or, you know what? Let me know even if there's some crazy, like, neo-leftist logic to making it make sense. Like, I still want to know that because, yeah, I'm sitting here with a blank.
Yeah, any neo-leftists in the chat, if you want to chime in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, what's her name? SJW Captain Marvel and SJW Spider-Man are in our chat right now, so what's up? Oh, we've got Toxic in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexander, who I guess has some experience? I don't know. Trans is not none.
I'm with Alex on this one.
Yeah.
Until somebody can tell me otherwise, that just, yeah, exactly, Roof Korean. 2 + 2 = 5. This is the left. There's no such thing as logic. In some regards, you're absolutely correct. Oh man, it's so dumb. It's just it's more virtue signaling. And here's what I found really interesting about this entire story is that Star Wars didn't post that on Twitter. They posted that on Facebook and Instagram only. Twitter is completely silent. And Data Racer, at Data Racer 117 on Twitter, I'm sure everybody might have seen him around by now. If not, check him out. He is probably him and Lied 15 on Twitter are the 2 best archivers, collagers. Like they get the info. Yeah, they're fantastic. I recommend checking them out. But Data Racer pointed out they posted this on Facebook, and he speculated that it was so you have to use your personal account to call them out. And then it would lead you to getting doxxed and harassed by radical activists for your bigotry. And I think I honestly kind of think that has some weight because I know that, my real name's attached to both Twitter and Facebook, but if I had a pseudonym, I would rail on Twitter all the time because you don't know who I am. But why would I subject myself to saying, hey, this is clearly virtue signaling because a trans non-binary doesn't make sense. And then I don't need my life destroyed because I have an opinion about a Star Wars comic.
Right.
Right. And I just really think Data Racer is 100% on point here.
Interesting.
Are you better, YouTube me? Are you better? Drop the proof.
I mean, unless you're willing to take the heat, yeah, that's
well, here's the thing. It's I think some people are willing to take the heat. They recognize that on social media you'll get railed upon, you'll get DMs, you'll get insulted, blah, 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 blah. I don't think they realize, again, because so many people are not terminally online, I don't think they realize just how far it can go to the point of like calling employers, to telling family members, to I don't know, like going to your house. There are so many different things that could happen. I don't want to bring up any of the more extreme ones because I know that they are outliers, but they have happened, and I definitely get why you would do this. It's a pretty smart plan, like from a tactical standpoint on Star Wars' end. Like I can't really deny that.
Culture Casino.
Yeah, $2 from Culture Casino. What is up, buddy? Always nice to see you. Giving you some shout outs earlier for your daily Sixers. Is that what they're called? Daily Sixers?
6 minute.
Yeah.
But
you can create a non-specific Facebook account. You definitely can, but and correct me if I'm wrong, and you don't have to super chat it to let me know. I think like it's still really tedious to create like a non-specific one. I don't know. I've literally only created my profile, and I didn't even create it. I had friends back in high school create it for me because I was so against it. But let me know, because I can see people having non-specific Facebook accounts for that reason, but I don't see anybody, or I see very little people creating a brand new account just to rail on this one post.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of people saw it and wanted to go to Twitter and look for it on Twitter and rail on it there. But again, the strategy took it away.
Very interesting. And on Instagram too. That's
a Facebook company.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's easier to create anonymous accounts on because it's kind of the same thing as like Twitter. But again, no idea. Like obviously it's Facebook related. There's something going on the back end there if you're using only those two platforms owned by the same company that require you to use your real name in some capacity.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so I'll agree that the concept is interesting. You have two that are empathically linked, so there's a reason to call them they.
Yeah.
Because they're both like unified as one. But then it's a weird thing of just like at this time you're going to highlight them because it's that time of the year.
Well, it's just like when February started and they ran that thing about representation and they featured like the painting of John Boyega. Even though everybody knows how they treated John Boyega, John Boyega
knows how they treated John Boyega.
The quote, I don't know why, it's been stuck in my head all week, and I've been saying it like randomly to like my friends. But I love when he was in that interview. I don't remember what he was getting interviewed for, but it was post Rise of Skywalker, and the interviewer goes like, on the subject of Star Wars, like, have we seen the end of Finn's story? Like, do you think that there's any chance you could return? And John Boyega's like, what? Return? You mean Disney Plus? No, they're not going to Disney Plus me. And I'm like, dude, that's so awesome. Oh man, Boyega. I love how pretty much every actor has come out in the interim or like in the aftermath of that trilogy and said like, I'm never doing it again.
Right.
It's great. Oh, and that reminds me, speaking of like never doing it again, and it'll be a bell-worthy thing in a minute. Yeah. Why do sexual identities and that stuff matter when Jedi aren't supposed to have sex or relationships? Like Star Wars literally just went over that like a month ago. John was like, what the hell is going on?
Okay, so here's the weird thing. I don't know where any of this lies because I'm not an EU person. Apparently, Luke in the EU had a relationship with Mara Jade.
Yep.
In so much that he had a child named Ben. Ben begat Unknown, and Unknown begat Cade.
Yes, Cade down the line, yeah.
No, it was before Cade.
Anakin too. No, I don't.
No,
I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't know the
Cade's
bloodline.
Father.
Yeah,
and then
we'll call Cole.
Then,
that's his name. Cole.
Yes,
K-O-L.
okay, Cole, and then Cade, was trained by
Darth Talon
that they want to bring into the fucking Mandalorian. Anyway, so that's another can of worms that we don't want to open tonight.
Yeah, for
real. because they did that in the EU, it was a weird thing in my mind. Like, okay, I'm hearing one thing on one side and another thing on the other side. Ultimately, it's all just a story, and it means nothing in the long run for me because I wasn't that big of a Star Wars fan. Sorry, guys, I'm not that big of a Star Wars fan.
No, that's totally 100% valid. I completely get that.
And even in the thing that I follow, X-Men, I have my fucking frustrations with that franchise. Even in the great times that it had in the early 80s and 90s, like inconsistencies with writing, inconsistencies with the character.
Claremont's like
like
favorite character of the week always gets like a new power, and it
right. And it's just like, okay, well, you understand that these are being written by people who are not going to follow everything or not going to have everything like down pat in their mind when they write it. So,
and that like I get that they don't always have things down pat, but I kind of would like a little more foresight. Like here's where I get with this, with like, I'm a huge DC fan, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. In those productions or in those series, like in the comics, the problem is like the writers keep, how do I put this? I'm okay with adding new things, adding a new character, a new concept, a new villain, whatever, as long as you make it fit within the framework that you've established. I want my stories to have continuity. I want them to have, like, one of my favorite things about Star Wars in particular was the world, like how there was just this universe of stuff going on with all these different rules and governments, and it was great. And nowadays they kind of just throw whatever sticks at the wall without giving a damn about how it fits into everything. Like, I guarantee that's why they put the High Republic freaking 10,000 years before anything we've seen. Like before, what is it? Before Phantom Menace. And just watch. I almost guarantee at some point they're going to have a relative of Skywalker show up in a book, in a comic, something High Republic related, and it's going to vaporize everything about like Skywalker continuity. Yeah, exactly. Toxic Man Flu. You know what sticks on the wall? Poop. And that's literally what we've gotten this entire time. Mm-hmm. New Jedi, who knows every power, who is a clone of Sidious, but now she's a Skywalker, and she knows Force healing. And yeah. Oh, none of that looks good? Throw something new on it. Like, it's just, and I know everybody's probably tired of hearing me say this, at least, but that's why I love manga and that, because it is normally done by one creative team the entire way through. Like, it is the writer, his edit, like his small staff that he handpicks to help draw and write, and then like his editor, and they don't change it and they end it. I think that's the thing, is like, when you leave your stories open-ended, you open it up to stuff like this. Like, if they'd have just said, we're done with Star Wars after either episode 3 or episode 6 or episode 9, then we wouldn't have any more of this. But we do, because money.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
Money.
Yeah, Chris, Luke has different views in the books. All the women Luke got involved with ended up dead. Some bad luck.
Even Mara Jade?
Yeah, Mara dies pretty. I mean, they have a long while, but she does die. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and I know we have some EU experts in the chat, but so correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that when Luke was rebuilding the Jedi Order, he was kind of more like lax on the rules, kind of like, okay, let Jedi love. Okay, let Jedi have attachments. Not entirely sure. I think I recall that from the comics I used to read as a kid, but yeah, so like that made sense for him to get with Mara Jade. Mara Jade, I think, really influenced what I like in a woman, because redheads, like strong redheads, man, always blow me away.
So, okay, I heard somewhere that the treatments that George Lucas wanted Disney to take would be along the lines of adopting some of that EU stuff, especially with Mara Jade, with Cade Skywalker, with Cole Skywalker, just continuing the line.
Yeah, no, that would have been cool. And I
heard that somewhere, and I can't source it. Maybe
I think we did it. I think we have something on it. I'll check really quick. But I would have loved that because, like, I know that there are some George Lucas diehards out there who are like, no matter what he would have done, it would have been great. And I disagree because I saw Attack of the Clones. All right, and that movie is hot garbage. Like, I know John would probably push back if he was here, but I do not like Episode 2. But I do like Episode 1 and I do like Episode 3. And so, like, if here's my thing with George coming back, I don't think it would have automatically salvaged the series, but I would have been more down for it because I would have known it was his vision, it was his story. So again, kind of why I personally, I can't speak for everybody on the staff, but that's why I supported the release of Snyder Cut. Like, I wanted to see it come out. I wasn't a Snyder Cut like fanboy, but I wanted to see it come out because let's get back to creator driven visions. Like we always talk about, and I think Don and I even talked about it on Tuesday, like directors nowadays for like Marvel and DC, they don't get hired for their talent, for their creativity. They literally get hired so that the boardroom can tell them what to do. Yeah. And like my number one example is always going to be Captain Marvel, where the two directors who directed Captain Marvel made some pretty good indie films, but that's all they made before Captain Marvel. And then they brought him in, gave him Captain Marvel, and look what we got. A very bland, like, opinions on Larson as a person aside, that movie is just boring. Like, it's just average. It's not bad. There are some really cringe moments, but it's just kind of like, all right, very standard, very, very much feels like it was written by a boardroom. And then those two directors did like no press. Like, they were not on the circuits. I bet like nobody could even tell me their names. I don't even remember their names. I just remember there's two of them.
Yeah. I think like Whedon, and then who else?
Dude, this new character is Star Wars Theory, right? No, see, can't introduce Star Wars Theory as a character. He's too jacked. He would just wipe out the galaxy with one swing of his lightsaber. I know it.
And Star Wars Theory, I think, has hair. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Star Wars Theory has hair under the hat. So no, he's not these guys or these thems. Man, that's gonna get me in trouble someday.
I lost my train of thought. Okay, so out of all the directors, Whedon was the only one that had some mileage to him. Mm-hmm. Then you have what? The director for Doctor Strange 2.
Scott Derrickson.
No, not Derrickson.
Oh, 2. I thought you meant as well. Yeah, who is that? Sam Raimi.
Raimi. He has mileage. I mean, I can't think of anybody else who has like cinematic mileage that was put up to direct a movie. Like the first Thor movie, it was directed by, oh my gosh, I forgot his name, but he was in Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember his name either.
But yeah, he had some mileage. Favreau had mileage.
What did Favreau do before the Marvel universe? I forget.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't.
Films.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but he has some knowledge and mileage, and it's just like, okay, then they stopped doing that.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yes.
Thor 1.
He actually voiced
the
emergency distress call in Infinity War.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was.
That's really cool.
The emergency distress call, and it was a nice little nod. But yeah, it's just like at some point they stopped.
They did.
They got all these new ones.
Yeah,
new directors that didn't direct shit.
Like Joe Johnston. I don't know. Oh, he did Jumanji. Okay, I'll give you that one.
I'll give you that one. Wouldn't be like, okay, yeah, Joe Johnston.
Right? I would not be like, that's the get. And
yeah.
I think you're completely right. Like, looking at this list, a lot of these people, if they had any credits before coming to Marvel, they were very minimal. Like James Gunn, before he did Guardians, his most recent movie was Super, which was a super low budget film with now Elliot Page and Rainn Wilson, whatever you want to call his name, Dwight from The Office. Anthony and Joe Russo. I'm not even entirely sure what they did. Let's figure it. Let's
Community.
look, chat.
They did Community.
That's right. Community and Arrested Development. But
Arrested Development.
like those are good series and they directed them really well. But then you hand them Winter Soldier. That was their first movie. So like, luckily they stepped up and they proved themselves. And obviously, went on to do Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. But that's kind of what we're talking about. Like they just pull these people. You have Peyton Reed who did Ant-Man. Like Yes Man was probably his biggest movie, and maybe Bring It On, but not, again, like Don said, not the first person I would jump to. I mean, they did have Edgar Wright, but even Edgar Wright was kind of, when they signed him on, it was still really early. I'm pretty sure it was like right after Scott Pilgrim. So like, yeah, I mean, then you get like Taika, who I'm not entirely sure what he's done.
No, he did What They Do in the Darkness.
Oh, that's right, the vampire show.
The vampires. Did
he do the movie or did he do the show?
The movie.
The movie?
He was actually in it as
right,
well.
I knew he was in the movie. I didn't know if he directed. But again, another one of those things where it's like one kind of big project and now we're going to bring you on. And then look, I just pulled up Ryan Coogler. I forget. It was really only Fruitvale Station that he had.
No.
No. He did Creed. That's what it was. So
and that's why he got Black Panther.
Which makes sense. Which definitely makes sense. But then I feel like this era, Phase 3, is where they started kind of maybe. See, that's not true either because Coogler is really the only director out of all of them.
Yeah,
what did
but
Watts do?
Like he had one thing versus like guys that have had a storied career. I'm talking about like storied career. Whedon had a storied career of directorship, of producing, of making these shows for TV and movies. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the first movie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer back in 1980. Fucking,
I like that movie.
Luke Perry's still alive. And then you got Raimi. Now, for what is he doing? He's doing Spider-Man? No, Doctor Strange. Yeah, we just talked about that. So it's just like, okay.
And like, I'm also looking, like, let's look at these Phase 4 directors. We've got Kate Shortland. Whoa.
Crap.
Kate Shortland, who did, look at that, Somersault, Lore, Berlin Syndrome. She's Australian, so maybe they're big in Australia, but I haven't heard of them. I don't know if they're good. I'm just saying I haven't heard of them. Shang-Chi is getting Destin, Glass Castle, Short Term 12. Wait a minute. Best known for his collaborations with Brie Larson in the films Short Term 12, The Glass Castle, and Just Mercy.
Oh boy.
Was that that almost sounds like a nepotism hire.
And it also sounds like a
woke hire.
Horrible hire.
Yeah. Chloe Zhao, My Brothers Taught Me.
I mean, she won an award, right, this year for
Best Director at the Golden Globes, Nomadland.
I mean, that's a better picture of her than there's the real picture.
I know.
Like,
but so like Chloe,
the other is just like
it's like and then you've got Nia DaCosta for Captain Marvel 2, who
gosh
she literally has this Candyman, but this isn't even out yet. Like, or did it come out? It might have already come out, but I remember it. I think it might not have been out at the time she was hired for Captain Marvel 2. So that means she only had Top Boy under her belt.
Wow.
Which is a TV show. So I don't remember why we got on this topic, but you're totally right. It is pulling in directors who don't have a storied career, probably so that nobody's expecting anything from them. Mm-hmm. It is almost what it feels like to me. Because like you tell me Edgar Wright's going to direct a movie, there's a certain expectation I have of the content. It's going to be really well filmed. It's going to be a little goofy. It's going to be oddball. But if you don't have that director, if you have Kate Shortland, who nobody in America has heard of, no expectations are there.
Right. They can insert more Marvel into that movie than you could with an Edgar Wright film.
Yeah, I mean, just look at Far From Home. That is shove Marvel into everything we can. I don't like Far From Home. I was really disappointed by that movie.
Yeah, and that's John Watts.
Mm-hmm. John Watts, and then he's
also be doing
No Way Home
4.
And Fantastic Four. Yeah. Gosh. So who knows how that's all going to turn out? Peyton Reed's coming back for Ant-Man. I look at this and I'm just not excited for Phase 4. I'm kind of done.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
Endgame was
Black
a
Widow-
perfect end cap.
Black Widow killed it. Sorry, not Black Widow. The stupid WandaVision that kind of
Yeah.
like ruined a lot
Well,
of
I
the
mean,
momentum.
dude, I don't see anybody talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, nobody's talking about it compared to WandaVision. Every Friday on our Twitter feed, I could always see people talking about WandaVision that, WandaVision this. Here's a theory. Here's that theory. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It's crazy.
It's because they wanted to play. They wanted to play the Zeitgeist game.
That's what I've heard. So I haven't watched it yet, but
Yeah.
Dawn has. So I really want to. I was gonna try to watch it before today's stream so we could talk about it, but I still want to hear from you what's going on because it's kind of bonkers at this point.
It is, but it's just like, oh gosh, you know the piece that we wrote like 2 years ago, maybe, or a year ago, where they would introduce the first super soldier.
Yes.
And
yeah, I do remember that.
Would be a black super soldier, based on the comics at the.
What up, Drew?
Yeah. So, and then Drew,
I think you're muted, buddy. I didn't hear you say anything there. But go ahead, Don.
But yeah,
we'll say what's up to Drew once he gets
this character, and we thought it was going to be a big thing.
Yeah,
it was a nod.
Really?
It was a fleeting, like, one scene reference to his past, and then they were done with it. It was just to prove that there were super soldiers.
I don't know, man. People like me quiet.
Oh, have you seen it, Drew? Have you been watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I watched some, yeah. You know,
good. Then Don has somebody he can talk to about it because I haven't seen it yet.
It's horrible.
Yeah, there's WrestlerGam. Isaiah's scenes in Falcon and the Winter Soldier were dumb.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it, man. It's just.
Are they HB?
It's super bland to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It don't like I've seen this before, you know, and you know, I get it. I mean, you know, you guys could joke with me. You guys could be like, "Hey, boomer," but you know, I've seen this shit countless times. All right, Lethal Weapon, Miami Vice, the whole buddy cop formula. I get it. Simon and Simon.
I wish they would do that. I wish they would commit to that.
But they do a little bit of it. It gets to be where, okay, it starts to hit a little bit of a vibe, and then it just falls flat.
Because they want to insert the stupid agenda stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You're exactly right, Don.
The moment they insert that agenda stuff, like, hey, let's go meet the first dumb, you know, the guy that they experimented on before they did Captain America. That derailed it for me. And then the cops just show up in force. I was having a discussion with Phil about this, and it's like, yeah, it happens, but it was a little bit too super on the nose. Like they showed up in force, and it's just like,
and they did it so awkward. It was
so awkward.
It was so fucking forced.
Like I understand it happens, but it's like there are like circumstances in which it happens where it can be believable in the writing. Like if they are driving down the street and there's like a broken taillight out, or like they're just driving by real slow, trying to figure out the location of this previous super soldier, then the cop would come by, and then another cop would come by and waste 30 minutes of their time. Other than that, just like, unbelievable. Took me out of it. Took me out of the moment.
Yep. Real quick, Don. Let me say what's up to some of my peoples in the chat, because I see Chris Neville out there. What's up, dude? I see Tahilam. What's up, my guy? Mr. Anime 343, Kogi Pan. Good to see everybody. Thanks, by the way, for supporting myself and Spencer and Don when we did that stream this past Sunday. Man, that meant the world, guys, and y'all showed up for it. And I can't thank you enough for that. You know, I know it wasn't an official bounding thing, but man, you know,
kind of turned into one.
These guys brought it strong. Big thanks to our boy Jay Lee for coming on with us.
Jay Lee.
I mean that was awesome, and you know, again, thank you so much, chat. But yeah, not to step on you there, Don. But yeah, I totally agree with you, and you know the hey Tox. The other thing that pissed me off about this show, Don, and you know this, was the stupid thing where they had to it's like they pulled every, you know, typical black stereotype out of the dictionary and stuck it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's like, so why you got to sit there and make Sam's family like, you know, all, oh, we're losing our business, we can't keep it together, you know, my sister got a tribe of kids, you know, it's like, so you're basically, the only difference is why didn't you just stick them in the projects, make it like 5 for 5 stereotypes?
Oh yeah,
you know, because that was the only thing that's missing. I mean, they did every other thing, and it's like, man, if I was a black person watching that, I would be incredibly kind of pissed off. Because
I heard they literally had, and you guys can verify this, I heard they literally had like a is he bothering you, sir type of scene, like.
Yeah, that was the cop
thing.
scene. But I'm talking about like Sam's kind of story where he's catching up with his family, and they go immediately to that awkward bank thing. You know, where so he goes with his sister. They go to
get the loan or whatever.
To get the loan to save the business, and it's like, really? You're gonna go that route? Like, oh, well, you guys are just typically low income. We can't help you. And it's like, I mean, it's just so forced. Like, why are you gonna do that?
The other thing that I noticed about that, I was judging episode 2 based on they got away from that. Like episode 2, they got away from that story altogether, and it's like, this seems like it was written by another person. And I didn't care enough to look into it to see it was actually written by another person.
Well, if they're going that route too, then it's still going to suck because, you know, we've seen before when they do the when they do this stuff with any Marvel shows and they have too many cooks in the kitchen. So you get a different...
It was written by 2 different people.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
There's a different writer for episode 3 and 4 too.
Well, yeah, and this is why, because you can never establish continuity. You know, have somebody write the season. Like, listen, okay, you take for example, you know, and I know that it's not just Disney that does this. It's common. I know they've done it in TV before. But, you know, there's more communication and whatnot in at least traditionally in writers' rooms than obviously what's going on with Marvel, because, you know, at least if you take a show like BSG, which there were people that directed different episodes, or people that wrote different episodes, but by and large, it was the same 3 writers working through all these episodes. Sometimes they would trade off, you know, 2 of them were a team together, and then the other person would trade off with them. And then I think there were only like 3 or 4 other episodes that had any sort of different writers to it. But these people communicated well, and they had a cohesive writer's room. So they didn't deviate from story elements, from everything else. They all agreed on stuff. And now listen, the people that they've got working for them, sure, they probably agreed on the woke shit, but it's still it's bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, they're like, It's like a game of telephone almost, where it's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
here's my story. John Walker is a super soldier, and then it's like your turn, and it's like, okay, he's a super soldier, and there's racism. Your turn.
Yeah.
Okay, well now it's my turn. I don't really want to do the racism, so spy stuff, and then you give it to the next person. Well, I want to do the racism, so we're back to racism.
Yeah, and it kind of jumps around different concepts, and it's like, for somebody that knows, okay, the comics, it's not gonna, this isn't gonna be a hold your attention watch. It's not gonna be a fun watch.
Oh yeah, condescending Iosh.
Oh no.
Condescending
Yeah.
Josh. Yeah, he's correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh is here in the chat. Oh yeah, he is.
Condescending Josh. Yeah.
What's up, Josh? Falcon Winter Soldier got super woke in episode 2, and the problem is that it felt even more forced than usual to the point it got ridiculous. To me, that's just like every production out of them right now.
Josh makes a good point. Another good point too. He said at 10:56 p.m. He says, "Remember, the director for Falcon and the Winter Soldier called Cap's shield a white symbol. The show was doomed from the start."
Yeah,
And he's
I didn't
not.
even know that. I was just about to ask Restergam in the chat, like, is that a real quote? Because I never heard that. Sucks.
And he's
Oh,
not,
this is the one from Josh you were looking at. My bad.
Yeah,
I didn't see you said another one.
Yeah,
Wow, a white symbol.
yeah,
I thought we wrote about that.
and he's not wrong.
I'm sure we did. I might have forgotten it because
Yeah,
because it's so stupid.
Going on, we can't keep up.
Resvergam, they have a globalist group in the show, and the thing that's funny about that is, again, we talk about how they're trying to push this whole globalist stuff on us, in real time right now. Well, you go to watch something like this. Yeah, they're trying to make them almost sympathetic enemies. So
That's what I was going to ask, because it feels so weird to me that globalists would be the enemy, or one world without borders would be the bad guys. Like I feel like that's something that they would show Bucky and Sam fighting for. Like I was so confused by that.
But they're trying to make the viewer have a bleeding heart toward this movement. And if you think about it, it's actually an effective way to pump this propaganda out there. But it's just, to me, it doesn't need all this garbage.
Dude, Drew, when I saw that, I got vibes of that it's kind of MAGA-ish, where they liked the world before. They liked it before the blip, and they enjoyed like having less people around, and when things were more stable.
Makes sense.
Because
Yeah.
everything right now, in that world that they're in right now, everything's unstable. You can't get a bank loan because they're trying to figure out all the bank stuff with all these people.
Well, this is the thing. At 10:59 p.m. Resvergam says they'll make the globalists the good guys and the Shield/U.S. government become the bad guys halfway through the series. And that's essentially what they're going for, And
then I bet you they'll have like a conflict of interest in Bucky too, where it's like, I'm a good guy now, but I know what it's like to fight on the other side, and maybe they have some good ideas or something. Like,
oh God, oh Spencer, don't call that shit. That's gonna happen.
The government is bad. The people are good.
America bad, yeah.
Yeah. It's
wait, hold on. A dystopian fan fiction about anime being deemed illegal. Dude, that's now.
Yeah, that is happening now.
Dread Pirate Mikey, John Walker is going to be a villain soon. Oh yeah, of course.
Probably.
That's what they're setting him up to be. One thing I noticed, and this is the only thing I really know about Cap and the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, whatever. John Walker can apparently throw the shield just like Cap can, which doesn't make sense to me because Cap had the super soldier serum, and I'm pretty sure Walker is just a dude.
My take on that is the dude trained with the shield to throw it. The shield is vibranium, meaning it's lightweight.
Right. Okay, I can see that.
Well, listen, I'm getting really sick of this shit, guys, because Captain America and you know, and his friends were symbols of America. When you sit there and you start taking this stuff and turning it into propaganda pieces and all this like globalist sympathetic garbage, you know,
You end up with Watchmen, HBO Watchmen.
Well, I take a lot of offense to that. I mean, this is not, you know, I guess I get maybe a little bit more upset than some other people because, you know, I look at the state of the country right now, and I know that, you know, like if my dad were still alive, because you know, my dad fought in World War II, Korea, Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And you know, I mean, he's buried with high honors in Arlington. And,
That's awesome.
And if he were alive now, man, he would be disappointed as hell with the state of the country. I guarantee that. And for them to keep, you know, shitting on the ideals of America like this, it really irks me badly, you know. And hopefully, sorry if I know that opinion's a bit strong, folks. I get it, but I mean that's just the way I feel. It's hard for me to just.
It's a valid feeling, man.
Well, yeah, it's we're watching the show, but we don't have great expectations for it. The bar is down on the bottom tier, and it could go even lower.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll be here. No, I like for me after WandaVision went full Marvel, I was like, I'm done here. Like I can't with this stuff. I will probably watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier at some point, but it'll probably be like when it's done, so I can just get over it, just blow through it.
Now the thing is with oh gosh, WandaVision.
Wait till the shippers get a hold of Bucky and Falcon, dude. Where have you been since Civil War?
Oh, here's the thing. There's another signal. During the second episode, a psychiatrist tells them that to have like a looking into each other's eyes moment.
Oh, is that what that image is from?
And
okay.
Then they're both
I almost used that. So yesterday, I don't know if you noticed, but yesterday's thumbnail for the Daily Stupid was you and I over Bucky and Sam. And I almost used that chair photo.
Yeah, so they're both essentially like so close that they are almost lesbian scissoring each other.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
What the?
Like their knees are like right in each other's crotches.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a minute, what therapist does this?
It's super weird. I don't get it. Like, why do you have to go leg to leg? Like, can't you just look at the dude?
Yeah. So I'm just like, whatever. Okay. Yeah. So it might be. Oh God, it might. I hate to say it. But they might.
They might.
If Sharon Carter doesn't come in and straighten things out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen. They're gonna Iceman it.
Oh my! I guess you've always been gay. Really? That's the worst panel of all time. I don't like anybody who was involved in that. Here, I'll pull up an image in case you guys have not been watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I will show you exactly what Don is talking about because I've seen it. I know what he's talking about. But this is the context. Shablam! This is apparently the scene where, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, crotch to knee. Yeah. Also, why are they doing therapy in like an interrogation room? Yeah. Maybe that has to do with the episode, but
it was a very forced moment.
It seems like it. It definitely seems like it. I also saw somebody in the chat say that like Sam and Bucky aren't really friends, and that kind of bums me out because yesterday when I was working, I threw on Civil War just for some background noise. And they have some good interactions in that movie. Like, I really like their fight against Spider-Man. Like, they had this really good back and forth. And I was really hoping that we would get, like, a buddy road trip thing out of this. And it doesn't sound like we're getting that. I mean, I'm looking at the wiki page, and there all these quotes that were done like in the lead up to the show all reek of wokeness. Like it's pretty bad. Where was this? Spellman, who is Spellman? One of the writers, I guess they're listed higher up. Oh, showrunner Malcolm Spellman said the series was a, quote, nice progression from the themes of racial identity that were presented in Marvel Studios' Black Panther, and was hopeful that the series would have a positive impact on Black youth like that film did. Like, there's that. And then, let's see. Feige said that the series would be more of a reflection of the real world than previous MCU projects, with composer Henry Jackman saying the series deals with, quote, less comfortable, weighty issues, such as what kind of person should hold the shield and how a Black man would feel about Captain America.
That's the issue.
Writer
there.
Skokeland added that other topical, quote, hard to talk about issues that the series explores includes ideas of patriotism and extremism, asking the questions, quote, who is an American and who gets to decide what principles the country stands for? What compels people to take extreme actions in the name of what they believe is patriotism?
Dude, okay. I was listening to Eric July's.
Whoa! Hold that thought. Hold that. I want to talk about that Eric July thing, but the next sentence, or the second to the next sentence, Skoglund noted that Captain America has always been used to explore political ideas since the character's first comic book in 1941, where he was depicted punching Hitler. One of the other writers, Stan, said viewers would be able to compare the events in the series to the 2021 storming of the United States Capitol. Though this was unintentional since the series was written before that event. If you're drawing that comparison yourself, then that's get out. So are we going to see a bunch of like Flag Smasher and whatever his group is storm the Capitol? I guarantee it. And then you're going to get all the think pieces that are like, wow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is exactly the show we need right now.
Oh gosh. No. When so I was listening to Eric July.
Okay, yeah, it's not social distancing. They are breaking their own rules.
Yeah. So listening to Eric July, he made a great point about the X-Men and what they represented during the time when people conflate the X-Men to the civil rights movement. And they did like a live panel with Stan Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions that came up to Stan Lee is, did you create the X-Men to highlight the issues in the civil discourse at the time, the civil rights movement, to reflect the things that were happening in the civil rights movement? And he said point blank, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
when a writer does a story, they write a story based on whatever's in their mind that sounds cool. Stan Lee wanted to talk about the transition of adolescence, the story that all of us can relate to when we're feeling uncomfortable moving into our own skin, being different, being out of sorts when we're that age and making a transition, puberty, hello. And then he eventually saw that there are connections to what was happening in the day. So it was after the fact that they made those connections, like, oh, this kind of seems like it could fit in with what's going on with the civil rights movement. But the intention behind it was not to reflect the civil rights movement. The intention was to tell a story that everybody could relate to.
So to that end, I just found a quote from the man himself when he was speaking to The Guardian about the X-Men and about conceiving him. Stan Lee said, quote, I couldn't have everybody bitten by a radioactive spider or zapped with gamma rays. And it occurred to me that if I just said that they were mutants, it would make it easy. Then it occurred to me that instead of them just being heroes that everybody admired, what if I made other people fear and suspect them and actually hate them because they were different? I loved that idea. It not only made them different, but it happened to be a good metaphor. It was a good metaphor for what was happening with the civil rights movement in the country at the time. It's literally what Don said. Stan's coming up with an idea. He's going to make these mutants, going to make them feared. Oh, hey, check that out. They're kind of working with what's going on. If you like the person who actually brought the idea of it being a direct representation was Chris Claremont. because in the same, he has a quote. Who is he talking to? He can't be talking to NPR. Oh, the quote is hosted on NPR. I'm like, NPR didn't exist back then. Let's see, Claremont. He said, they don't have a source for it. He just said it. But the X-Men, Claremont said, quote, "The X-Men are hated, feared, and despised collectively by humanity for no other reason than that they are mutants. So what we have here, intended or not, is a book that is about racism, bigotry, and prejudice." So Don's exactly on the point. It worked with what was going on at the time, but it didn't seem like Stan was going out of his way to go like, this is my civil rights movement support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure
he
did
support
that was spurned from the civil rights movement.
Right, exactly.
It's like, I'm telling the story, and if it happens to line up with the things that are happening, like when they did that episode of The Simpsons, and when they said Fox was a subsidiary of Disney, it's just like
that was good.
The storytelling, they weren't being prophetic in any way.
Yeah, they were just making a joke. Everybody, I think the world collectively needs to step back and not look so deep into everything, because not everything is that deep or needs to be that deep. Like, I don't need think pieces on like this. I took this screenshot because it was one of the ones that I thought I might have used for our Daily Stupid, but I can see this being like, you want me to go right now? I'll go BuzzFeed on it. Why is Sam more wrapped up than Bucky? That's pretty racist. It just shows the bondage of the black man in American society. What? See, boom. I just injected it right there, but it doesn't need to be. That's not what this is.
Yeah.
Like I could make it about that, but that's definitely not what the Russos were intending when Spider-Man webbed him to the floor.
On your left too.
On your left as well. Oh, hey, I didn't even notice that. These people have no life experience because they've grown up in safe spaces. How can they write about real world issues when they've never had to deal with the real world? Well, that's kind of true. Especially when you look at Marvel, because I'll give DC this. They are going pretty woke, but at least their stories are still focused on like super heroics and like those characters. Whereas Marvel, all of their writing is, how do we link what's going on to the real world and make it almost a 1-for-1, if not like a 1-for-2 metaphor. And if you look at Marvel Comics, they're not fun to read right now because, unfortunately, like, it's watching 20-year-olds get coffee and talk about the job they lost is not an exciting comic book. Hell, it's barely an exciting show. It's barely an exciting scene in a show about something else. You know, like, when that's your focus, how can you be surprised when nobody is buying it? How can you be surprised?
Great.
Oh my God, Miss Marvel is the worst offender. Miss Marvel is the dumbest offender.
Well, this is the stupidity of it, and I agree because
exactly, Mark.
Because you know, none of these people grew up hood, and they did not grow up street, and if they did, you know, or if they try to rep that shit, they're bullshitting. They haven't spent a minute out there trying to deal and keep stuff together. Hell, most of these people ain't even growing up poor at all. They're trust fund kids. So it's like, you know, I mean, I'm not going to read somebody's writing like that because they're not going to be writing from a place of accuracy. You know,
not even accuracy, a place of like genuineness, right? Like, they're not creating art, they're trying to push their story, like not story, but their message.
Yeah, they're trying to push their agenda, and
that's the word I was looking for. I don't know why I blinked on that.
And it's trash, you know, like okay, like if somebody that actually, you know, grew up like poor and grew up hood, all right, I can deal with that. You know, you want to write a black character with real struggles from an actual black perspective from somebody that went through it. Yeah, all right, I could get on board with that. But
like Static Shock and all the heroes from, oh my gosh, I'm blinking. Milestone, like that imprint DC did. Yeah.
I mean, I could get on board with that, but I'm not gonna read this woke shit because it is all like a big circle jerk of virtue signaling. And it's like, man, I don't want that. And I certainly don't want that in my entertainment. When I'm reading something, when I'm trying to de-stress and escape, that's not the shit I want to read.
Right. No, and I think we're seeing that nobody really wants to read it, as Western comics are kind of just crap in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, the most popular Marvel comic right now, the most popular Marvel comic is a Japanese exclusive, like a mobile app exclusive.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that Sunday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a Deadpool manga, a Shonen Jump one that's exclusive to their app, is the most popular Marvel comic in years. It has over 1 million readers, and it is readers because that's how their platform calculates it. But for the record, I went all the way back to about 2002 in sales data, just to be completely accurate. And in that time frame, there are only 2 books that have topped 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Star Wars #1, the very first one from when it came back to Marvel and Disney, which makes sense because it's a new era, and #1, big thing. And the Amazing Spider-Man issue with Obama on the cover. I'm sure you've all seen it, where Obama's that one, and that one was a scalper thing, really, and an Obama thing more than a Spider-Man thing. Those books hit 1 million. Aside from that, that's it. Like, just everything else is like sub 100,000 easily, which is really bad. But again, the reason this picture is up on the screen is not just to laugh at it, but you know who this is? This is our boy Kibblesmith. Exactly. This is the kind of talent that they have writing at Marvel. Literally, that book is by Dana Schwartz. Like, I didn't even realize that. Like, get out of here. But yeah, just like you're saying, Drew, these kinds of people try to write these stories from like troubled perspectives or the ground perspective, and they don't have it. So it all feels forced and fake and insulting a lot of the times.
It is insulting.
Like, there was an issue a couple years ago of the Incredible or the Totally Awesome Hulk or whatever it was, when Amadeus Cho was Hulk, and it was so weird because it was an issue to highlight the Asian heroes of Marvel, but the only reason they were together was like to get lunch. And like, I don't see that ever. I am Asian. I've never been like, yo, my Asian homies, let's go get an Asian lunch. It's just kind of like, hey friends, who wants to go get food? Don, Drew, all right, let's go get food.
Yeah.
And then of course that issue also had like a cameo by Jeremy Lin, and it was weird. It was just weird. And
it's a joke, but these, like, if you haven't grown up in that life, I'm sorry, then don't try to sit there and craft a story and speak on it.
You're absolutely right.
If you haven't grown up in that life, then you really aren't going to convey anything authentic to the reader. Not at all. Because, listen, the city where I live, dude, I know when I was coming up through high school, I had friends of every racial persuasion, and I could tell you right now, everybody's situation was different from everybody else's. It was all unique, and when for the people, like the disadvantage, like Black people that I knew when I grew up, even the ones that were gangbangers, because I knew, God, there were a lot of gangbangers in our high school. I knew a lot of gangbangers.
Oh, I did too, where I grew up. Yeah.
And I couldn't even begin, even though like I saw like a glimpse of their life, could I go and kick it with some of these dudes and whatnot? But I'm not gonna sit there and say, oh, that makes me an expert because I saw, bits and pieces in the microcosm of their life. Now, if I wanted them to actually, contribute something, I'd be like, yo, write about your life, bro. And let me include it in a book and I'll credit you. Or, why don't you take a shot at writing this chapter in my book? I would do something like that if I was trying to convey that forward, because that person has an intimate knowledge that I don't. And they've been through it. They've been through that struggle. The same as like, you got some of these Asian people and they front like they've been through struggle, but they're like, college educated and, like had a silver spoon in their mouth most of the time.
Right.
And
like, that's what makes me, and this is probably a continuation from our stream on Sunday. That's what makes me so angry, Drew, is that like those Asians, like those people are like second, third, fourth generation Asian kids who have lived here for their entire lives. And they're spouting this crap when their parents or their grandparents were the ones who realized you needed to buckle down and, like work, do things to get a better life. Like, and
again, these are the ones.
Like, it's so insane.
Yeah, and those are usually the Asians that wind up like Ted Lieu.
Right. Or Eugene Gu.
Yeah, God. Oh my God, that guy.
Eugene Gu, Jew. He's definitely going on he's on the Daily Stupid.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
I've already given away 3 of the 4 Daily Stupid topics for the next one.
yeah, no doubt.
No, I think we're all completely there with you, man. Like they're trying to write these stories because they think it's a very privileged and a very like disconnected or not disconnected. Sorry. It's a very privileged and a very like self-glorifying way that they're trying to write these stories, because they're trying to go, oh, I want to write the plight of the Black people in America to help them. But it's like,
and it's just so
what are you doing? Then that's not your story. And then they go and get the writers who are not, they get the woke writers who only take that very specific privileged view of being Black or whatever. And it doesn't resonate with the average person.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's always like so over the top too. They always, every single one of them, it's like, well, because I have to add to my story that they hate white people, that white people are evil,
all the cops show up at once.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, man, seriously, come on. That's why, like I said, so people and readers are intelligent. That's the other thing that I hate about modern comics and about our modern movies and television shows. They think their audience is stupid, or they think the audience it has to be like talked down to, or I think what's even worse, the ignorance of it all is that they don't give a fuck about their audience, and they just think that we need to push out this propaganda. But either of those choices, they all suck, because they're not for the audience one bit. It's not for the audience at all. And
it's for themselves. Like, it's weird.
Oh, yeah.
And this stuff is like so like insulting to people's intelligence.
I think you're absolutely right. When you said they're talking down to people, that's definitely what they're doing. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Because the thing of yes, yes, we actually used that term on Sunday.
Yeah, we did. We don't know if it's official, but it's still good.
Shout out to Spencer for dropping that term. Yeah, shout out to you too, Respigam. Nice.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight this from Koge Pan, because I think it speaks what we're talking about. Just rumors, obviously, but at this point, how could Kirkman and Geppy, I don't know how to say his last name, I'll admit that, buying the licenses to DC print characters not be an improvement? At this point, the only way it couldn't be an improvement is if there was a major overhaul within the DC writing offices. Yeah. And I'm talking like eliminating 90% of your writers there, because you've got Mario Tamaki, you've got Tom King, you've got I'm forgetting her name. Ayala Vita? Oh no, she's Marvel. Ayala Vita's Marvel. Yeah, Gale is at DC currently. So it is really infested over there, and that's I really wish
Kwanzaa.
Oh, Kwanzaa! I forgot about Kwanzaa.
Oh, God!
And then Tamara Bolivan, Mags is still employed there. Becca Cloonan. There's one more who's really annoying to all of us, and I forget who it is, but they're also employed there. No, but that you're completely right, Koge. If it got out of this, like the corporate control, and to people who actually wanted to write the characters and not have to make sure they toe that line that Don was talking about earlier, it would be 100,000% better. The one that really I want to happen is Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor getting Power Girl. I would cry because they did the best run on her.
If Don didn't have a girlfriend, I swear to God, I'd like keep badgering him to ask Mags Basagio out.
You could do it.
I mean,
she's your queen, dude. That could be how you propose to her. Be like, look at what I have.
You'd be like,
open the box and the cards there.
It'd be like, I'm a Mag simp.
I would love to see Don become a Mag simp. That would be hilarious.
Oh man. Well, Don is based, and I love him for it.
Everybody's based. Anybody who can hear my voice right now is based. You all hear that in the chat?
But condescending, Josh, you're right. He said it's actually worse. Although America is on its way. Yes, it's already here, buddy. Because guess what? In a couple months, the dollar will be worth about 90 cents. Mark my words,
true.
folks.
Canada got there before we did.
They did get there before we did.
They got the camping thing going on right now.
Well,
like if
the dollar will be worth 90 cents, and
we'll be putting that in the Daily Stupid, Spencer.
Yeah, I probably will.
We'll be showing our papers every time we go across the state line. Oh God, fun times.
Yeah, every time you want to, anytime you want to go
papers,
to,
please.
Yeah, papers, please, man. There's such a good. I have a vaccine passport in the Daily Stupid that I would love to show everybody, but guys, it's still held up. We're at like hour 30, and the Daily Stupid from Tuesday is still held, or Monday is still held up. So that's an aside, but I did want to highlight this comment from condescending Josh. That's not the right one. The one from Patrick McNeil asking Josh. So in Spain, it's SJW obsessed like here in America, because they're talking about the recent banning of Dragon Ball. You heard that right, from a television, the government-run television channel in Spain's Valencia region.
Spencer, by the way, Mr. Anime brought up a great point. He said, what about Viz Media hiring JJ Kirkland?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Don't worry. I see you, Mr. Anime. I really need, not only do I want to talk about that, I need to talk about that, considering the fluff that happened, or the craziness that happened surrounding that a couple months ago. But so I would kind of argue that Spain is SJW obsessed like we are in America, but it's a little worse over there. So, and I'll tell you
riotous.
why. It's super bad over there. They promote it all the time, to the point where, as you can see in the title, it is law over there. The reason Dragon Ball couldn't make it onto television, according to the guy who runs the channel, one, because it was expensive, which I can understand, fine. Two, he didn't want to go up, like rub up against the laws in the country that dictate gender equality on television. So in the Generalitat Valencia, which is like their governing document of the region, there's literally a requirement that television networks must, quote, adopt through self-regulation codes of conduct aimed at transmitting the principle of equality, excluding sexist content, especially in children's and youth programming. Wow. So basically, you have to make sure you have no sexist content, which includes showing equal treatment and opportunities for men, the use of non-sexist language, and the guarantee of a plural and non-plural image stereotypes of women and men. So, and then they also allow for specialized professional intervention in the field of equality and the establishment of filters, and guaranteeing the rejection of sexist content, with special attention to those aimed at children and youth, both in programming and in advertising, with collaboration of the Observatory of Non-Sexist Advertising of the Generalitat Valencia. Look at that. The Observatory of Non-Sexist Advertising. That's like their, what do you call it? Like their committee. The translation here, guys, is a little off because I did do a machine translation, so it's from Google. But
Yeah.
You get the gist. I ran through it.
Yeah, what they're basically saying, Spencer, is before you submit anything, it has to be approved by the Ministry of Truth.
Dude,
That is exactly what they are saying.
And
this is worse than the Bechtel test.
yeah,
It's super worse.
Yeah, this is
and if you see, like right here, the government is allowed to make you discard content that encourages gender discrimination through stereotypes and sexist rules.
all right.
So, like, literally, and so that's what happened here with Dragon Ball. Sorry, it's just like it's such an overwhelming thing because that's what happened with Dragon Ball. The series with Bulma, who is the smartest woman in the world, a millionaire, can be a mother and an inventor at the same time. Like, that's sexist. I read an art. So when I found this, how I found this story was somebody on Twitter retweeted it onto my, like, a random Valencian tweet onto my feed from like this really small account. And I took a look and I started looking into it, and I found this article from, I want to almost say it's kind of like Valencia's BuzzFeed, where the author, I'm presuming who was a woman just by the name, was like, here's why Dragon Ball was banned. It was banned because it's sexist. And she went, I've never watched the series, but I decided to check out if it actually was, very sexist. Because people on Twitter were telling me that there were a couple jokes that might seem inappropriate today, but there's nothing sexist. And so she watches it and she loses her mind because there's Master Roshi, pervert. That's kind of the joke. She loses her mind because Chi-Chi and Android 18 and Bulma have kids, which she accuses of like being subservient to the warrior men. And it's like, and that they didn't do anything in the series. And I'm just like, holy crap. Like, you're just straight up lying at this point. Like, no, again, this is the problem with people trying to analyze, and I don't know if it's the right term, but like our media, like this nerd culture sphere of media, nobody cares to genuinely engage with what they're talking about. Nobody's going to go. Nobody, exactly, Drew. Nobody goes, all right, Dragon Ball sexist. Let me go into this with like an open mind. Let me watch a few episodes. Let me talk to the fan base. Let me see what's going on here. They just go, wow, I don't like that. Ban it. And it's bad.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what they do, because they're writing from a point of activism. They're not doing any actual journalism. It requires investigation. We know the basics of this when we write stories, folks. Like, listen, when we go in, like, for example, if we're going to run a story about a game, if there's something relevant about it, or we need to know a fact about it, one of the staff probably has that game, and we're probably going to play it first before we even put like words to canvas, before we even put any idea about that story out there. We're going to get a certain amount of hours in that game. Okay. And it's just doing proper due diligence on the topic that you're speaking on. And these people have no idea how to do that because, again, they're going from a point of activism. So they're just like, oh, well, I can blanket generalize and it'll be all right. And I'll fake it till I make it. And it's like, no, you can't go that route. I mean, but see, these people, and that's what pisses me off. And I'm not making this comment from a point of salt, folks, so please don't take it like that. But it pisses me off that somehow these people make more money than me and my colleagues right here, because that shit's not even right. Because
Kotaku journalists make like $100,000 a year. They literally brag about it all the time because they're like whenever they talk about unionization, they're like, thank God for my union, they helped me get like $100,000 a year in healthcare. And I'm like, are you kidding me? To write a hit piece on 6 Days in Fallujah about oh my gosh, it's so infuriating.
Listen, Resvergam, by the way, bro, all right, I need you as a subscriber like yesterday to my YouTube channel, bro, because you need to go on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Supreme Heretic. All right, you need to check out my series High Heresy that I do, because I talk about all the shit that's going on, current events, bro. And I totally refer to the Yuri Bezmenov stuff quite a bit.
We've talked about it a couple times here too. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Because
we're watching it happen and unfold in front of us.
That dude like predicted the future, bro. It's so did.
The same tactics the Soviets used in the 80s and 90s are still being used today. It's just easier for them.
The chat's on fire right now.
Oh yeah, chat has been fantastic tonight. I'm loving hearing all of you guys.
Because this is the Black Pill stream, guys.
Yeah,
we are the voice of madness amongst
John lets you supply. I almost made the lightsaber hilts, Don, in the image. I almost made those into black pills, but I thought nobody would be able to recognize what they were.
Hey Tony, Roof Korea, what's up, brother? Yeah, everybody in the chat is on fire right now. Mr. Anime's on fire.
We're having a great chat tonight. I'm loving hearing all you guys. My only regret is that I can't highlight every single one of them.
So
Mark 6336 Mark 63366 says gatekeepers are very important. Yes, dude, for real. Because
someday I want to do a giant piece or video on gatekeeping because I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Well, this is a problem. See, it was like the foxes snuck in the hen houses when this shit happened to our fandoms, guys. So all our stuff, like all the good sci-fi, they slipped in and then they pushed us out. Okay. These people slipped into the comics industry and into the fandom. What happened? Well, they pushed us out. We outnumber them, but they gained such traction and they dug in so much that they gained a bigger voice.
Well, they also have the support of everybody up top behind them. So like when YouTube and Twitter are silencing us and pushing all their crap, of course, what's everybody going to see? They're going to see their crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really is frustrating. But like kind of to that end, and I want to touch on this before we hop to Gina, because we're coming up on the end of the show and I really want to get to that. But just to touch on what Mr. Anime said, DJ Kirkland being hired by Viz. So last year, DJ Kirkland was hired by Viz. Nobody knows where, or like it wasn't publicly announced what division he was going into. All he said was that it was going to be something close to manga. And it worried people because he has this history of supporting like censorship and those really bad localization changes, like the Gamergate creep shows and all that kind of stuff. So people were really, really worried about that. And I think it's something valid to be worried about. It's why I wrote it, because the more and more people that get hired in these companies, in these publishers with this mindset that it's okay to censor things or it's okay to change things if it's our message, the more you're going to start seeing really weird, like almost separate editions of anime and manga. And that's worrying.
Well, what happens is eventually, listen, and I was talking about this on my talk show today. There's eventually enough people are going to get pissed off that there's going to be a cultural revolution. Hopefully not before the actual violent revolution, but, there will be a cultural revolution. I can promise you that, because more and more people every day are getting angry about this. They're waking up to this, and they know what is going on. And eventually, people are going to fight back.
Well, I mean, that's where Comicsgate and these kind of independent movements are coming from, because people are tired of this. It's why we go to Comicsgate. It's why we go to Japan. It's why we turn to old media. I've seen old media upticking way more than new media. Like nobody wants to watch new stuff, but everybody is finding good stuff in the past.
Because I can promise you, like,
listening to us morons.
I can promise you right now, like most fandoms, okay, like most of the big sci-fi fandoms especially, like Like if we were to break it down in percentages, probably about 65-70% of the Star Wars fandom wants to whoop the ass of the other 30% because they're a bunch of really like no spine SJWs. They just want to whoop the holy shit out of them. And I can't blame them. And then it's the same thing with Star Trek. You got people in there, any of us that are Star Trek fans, we despise the fans of woke Trek. Like, I mean, like we wish they would like these type of people would walk out their front door and step on a thumbtack, because it's like, these people are annoying as shit, and and somehow they got the voice. They have the ear of everybody in the high positions creating stuff for them, and we're always the alienated ones. Like, how it ever got to the point where you can alienate the majority of fans and still somehow
make money
or actually just put out more content. It's just like I'll never know. But again, it's like I said before, they snuck in through the back door.
Exactly. It's like this. It's just like with Kirkland. They hire them in these low positions, in these entry-level positions. They slowly work their way up. They slowly hire their buddies. They slowly go up higher, and then you get to the top. And that's what's like right now. I have nothing against Kirkland. I haven't seen anything from his. Like, I don't know if he's censored anything, but the fact that somebody, I think we should scrutinize the fact that somebody who is so vocal about changing media and censoring media, we should be we should always be aware of that. Just don't let them, like Drew said, don't let them sneak in, But before we jump, the reason I wanted to bring up Kirkland specifically is because a couple months ago, some person on Twitter found our article and was mad about something and kind of made this tweet where it's like, look, this is what is happening. Censorship is happening. Look at DJ Kirkland being hired. And it was kind of this mess of a tweet, but people started assuming that we were the ones accusing him of censoring whatever this, I forget what series it was at the time, but we got railed, or like my account blew up. And I just want to tell everybody, this is from March of last year, not even close to January 2021. So I really wish more people would look at what they're yelling about instead of just yelling about it. But that's really what I wanted to say on DJ Kirkland. We are coming into the home stretch for tonight, so I think it's really poignant. I really want to hear Drew's thoughts on this, and I want to hear Don's thoughts on this, because probably the dumbest thing that happened this week was, well, aside from this, you guys all saw this because I was switching around. This is a real Magic card, by the way, and it's
stupid.
It's so stupid, especially because this is the artist's regular portfolio. Like, she's really good at art, and I don't know where this came from. And even worse, this set, or like this alternate art print, is in the same set as these rad-ass Japanese ones. Like, these are literally in the same, you can get the same booster pack and either pull that or these.
Man, I would feel so gypped if I pulled that garbage. I would be like, what did I just get? I wanted that, not this crap.
Like, I sympathize with all the fans who are going like, what is this? And I also, I do hate the artwork, and I do think it's a bad decision, but I want to give a shout out to the artist, because when she got all the only because when she got all this criticism, she didn't lash out. She didn't insult people. She just literally went, want to thank everyone for all your comments regarding faithless looting and Harmonize. Good or bad, it's given me hype to work more, paint better, and continue to be true to my own visual style. Cheers, y'all. I disagree with the style, whatever, but I got to give respect to somebody who doesn't.
Yeah, she took it well.
Right, and you don't see that nowadays. Nowadays you see people, like we were talking about, Don. She's not trying to change the rules. She's going like, yep, this is fine. She's not trying to jump around and go, oh, if you're criticizing me, you're a misogynist or anything like that. So,
No, yeah, and look, mad credit to her because
Right.
she took it the way she should, and she said, I appreciate the feedback, and she took it more like she's gonna put her nose to the grindstone, put the extra work in, and become an even better artist. And listen, if and that's what constructive criticism is for. It's supposed to give you motivation. It's supposed to make you want to reach for a higher rung to pull yourself up to that next level. Because people are trying to tell you, look, your potential is there, your talent is good, but this is off, and this is off. And if you can channel that in your next piece, man, you're going to be
like, go for it. It's going to be a great piece. It's going to be really powerful.
Yeah, and props to this woman because at least she's taking that like that. So she's like, okay, I'm going to do what I need to do to make it to that next level. So I'm not getting a shit feedback.
Wait, what's wrong with that piece again?
That it looks like this when it's a magic card, where magic cards have very detailed paintings and they go crazy, and this is literally like Photoshop. Like there's no shading, there's nothing.
That looks like bad like photoshopping.
Oh, okay. I have my glasses on, so I can't.
Oh, you can see it all the way through.
So here's my thing. We got Steven Universe.
Oh boy.
We got Cal Arts. I see this and I see, okay, cool. At least it's not Steven Universe. It's not.
No, it's not. But it looks
Cal Art style. Thank God.
No, it's not done.
Fucking artists out there.
No, it's
better.
not. It's not. But the art style for it, it looks like some kid opening Photoshop, like trying to, be like, oh, it's my first meme. I mean, and that's like what this is, because it looks just very like there's not even any like rhyme or reason to the layers or anything like that.
Right,
It's horribly blended together, and it's just it's bad.
It's not as bad as it could be though.
It could. I will give you that, Dawn. It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. But
could be
I think
Thundercats roar right here.
Oh, God.
The only reason I think that this is particularly out there is because of the quality that magic cards normally have.
Yeah, that's
where there are
true.
these giant epic paintings, and then you get this.
Yeah,
like
I get it.
Yeah, but that was just a stopover in my tabs while we were going to the real story. Gina, I've opened up the follow up. So, in case anybody didn't see it earlier this week. Former North Dakota senator, or if you caught one of the first, million tweets I sent out where it was not right, North Carolina senator, former North Dakota senator Heidi Heitkamp straight up called Gina Carano a Nazi who hangs out with white supremacists. Now, I have the clip, so that's what we're going to do. It's about 1.5 minutes from Bill Maher's show. It's going to be the full context. I want you guys to watch this because it is more insane seeing it in person than just hearing about it.
Man, this lady, for real though, before you play that, she looks like a deformed ass Bozo the Clown. I'm sorry. All right,
she laughs.
Go ahead.
She is a Karen. She is an absolute Karen. So with that, let's get into it, guys. Again, about 1.5 minutes, and then you will want to cancel your internet after this. Whoop.
Whoop.
Where'd it go?
I swear to God, I don't want to talk about cancel culture and this nonsense every week, but I just don't think people understand how much this is a tsunami and how fast the goalposts change almost on a weekly basis. I just literally off the top of my head before I came out, wrote down 3 things I could think of, not just what you do now, it's anything you've ever done. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you examples of that. Not just what you say, it's what you listen to. They can get you for that. What you order, who you say you like, any sort of association. If you retweet something, if I like this picture. Who was the woman in the Mandalorian? What did she do? She liked something?
She was a Nazi.
Oh, that's different,
Yeah.
right? I'm thinking of somebody else. Well, she's not a Nazi.
She's a
not
white. She's
Nazi. Look at
involved
that.
with white
You're calling
supremacy.
her a Nazi.
She's called other people Nazis.
Right,
So
which
she's
is
the Nazi.
Okay, everyone's a Nazi now.
Yeah.
She does hang with white supremacists.
It's like a Mel Brooks.
She does?
movie.
Yeah.
Hangs with white.
I suppose I'm now subject to defamation.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what your definition of white supremacist is. That also, the goalpost there changed a lot. Used to be a guy in a Klan hood who.
But I think we have to be really careful. There's two things the Republicans think they're going to get Biden on. Cancel culture and this whole Dr. Seuss stuff that's going on where they're reading Green Eggs and Ham, proving that some of these senators can actually read. And immigration. And so we can't ignore the fact that we got Donald Trump was in part because of political correctness. I mean, you did a whole show called
I did all.
Correct.
Yeah. So insane, right? She literally just says Nazi, white supremacist, hangs with white supremacists. And then what really gets me is that, one, no evidence provided, doesn't even argue for it.
No.
She literally just changes the subject.
Cites zero fucking source. Did you notice that, folks? She cites zero source. She just spouts this off the top of her head. And again, this is the typical leftist Democrat talking points. This is exactly how they like to point anybody that is right of the middle. Okay.
You guys remember Jenny McCarthy?
Yes.
Oh,
And
how could I
she
forget?
spouted off that her kid got whatever because her kid got vaccinated.
Yeah.
And it started this whole anti-vax thing. But the mainstream media at the time said she is insane because she had no evidence. She had no proof. She had no scientific basis for what she was saying.
Right.
And now this lady is spouting off in the same manner, the same fashion, the same kind of mindset, build, frame, and bullshit. And she gets a laugh and a pass.
Yeah. Literal pass. Like, guys, I wrote this article 2 days ago. I guess that would have been Monday. I wrote this article. Shout out to YetiCast, who actually brought it to our attention. Yeah. YetiCast was the one who discovered it. This episode is from that's because Gina retweeted it. This episode aired 2 weeks ago, and I only heard about this from YetiCast on Monday. And even then, when I found it and started writing, Yeti's only had like 30 retweets and like a couple dozen likes on it. Right. It was nothing. And I can't believe, like, imagine if somebody had said this about, flip it, like Pedro. If somebody had called Pedro an outright Nazi, you would have everybody on his, like, jumping to his defense. And millions of think pieces and millions of toxic fandom takes. But with Gina, you just get this straight up senator. Like, she said it so confidently. She's a Nazi, a white supremacist, laughed about it.
Yep.
When none of that is true.
Exactly. And this is how they like to paint. They like to paint anybody that is like, from the middle. Hell, even people that are classic liberals. So from classic liberals on up to the middle, to the right, all of us collectively are Nazis and alt-righters. It doesn't matter if we're Republicans or not, because we don't believe exactly what they do. We are Nazis and we are alt-right.
Oh, yeah. And again, Drew, you weren't on when we were talking about this. Lester Holt of NBC basically came out and said, we have to stop giving equal weight to both sides of a story, and just because it's like not the truth, like we should just go.
Well, there's a reason for that, Spencer.
Well, I know he wants his side to be right, and he wants to control the zeitgeist and all that stuff. I'm totally there with you, but imagine if that's what we did. Then like Gina is just a Nazi. If nobody looks into it, because look at what people are propagating.
Well, the media is specifically the disinfo wing of the Democrat Party. That is
it. Basically, is a party arm at this point. It's really
that is what media is now, and the problem is like I said, we need to continue to red pill the shit out of people, black pill people, even just get people to wake the fuck up, because
just get people to open their eyes,
because you know, I mean, God, I really want to go back now and watch They Live again. Because
more poignant than ever, for real.
Because it's like, you know, put on the damn glasses, you know.
Dude, I wish I would love to do like a They Live type thing in today's
Fighting
world.
a black man in an alley.
Yeah.
Nobody.
No.
Dude, I don't know. The way they keep picking with us, we might.
It keeps happening. Yeah, but like you even saw. So I don't know if anybody knows Reason.com. It's a libertarian news site. It's my favorite news site. But I don't really have a favorite news site. It's just one that I frequent. So the other guy was Nick Gillespie, the editor-in-chief there. And you can even see him getting baffled, going like, so she calls other people Nazis and she's the Nazi. And even Bill Maher was like, yeah, everybody's Nazis now. Like, what are you talking about? And it's so insane. Like, the senator hasn't said anything. Nobody's held her to the fire. It just hasn't been a story.
And nobody's going to push her either. Because everybody figures like, you know, oh, well, you know, I'm not going to say anything.
Right. Like, because what's the point in saying things? I mean, YetiCast's tweet had no traction. I would bet a good amount of money that we were the first site at all to cover it as a story. Obviously, YetiCast had it first. And right now, just to back up our arguments, I went to Google News and I put in Heitkamp. I just put in her last name. We have one article from KFGO, which is it looks like a local.
Give me a cigarette.
The mighty, yeah, it's a local Fargo, North Dakota paper. That's it. Fargo, again, another. Oh, it's because she's from North Dakota. That's why. Yeah,
that's why.
Another North Dakota news site. Oh, I guess I can pull this up. I always do this. I always get carried away. Yeah, so you can see KFGO was the first one. Fargo Forum, Fox News, which, I mean, if they didn't catch it, I would have been really surprised. And then Deseret News. But notice how all of these are. So first of all, 3 of them, local papers. Nobody, like most people, aren't going to know them. Right. Fox News is the biggest one there. And then one day ago is the oldest one from Deseret and Fox News. That's a day after I published mine. So there's something, I mean, I'm stoked that we were the first to break it, but I feel like there's a big problem in the culture if our up-and-comer site, well, not even up-and-comer, we're pretty competitive to CBR and comic book now, but if our site is the first one to break a celebrity political story, it's weird. It just, not weird, it just is odd to me, I guess.
Are we even on the first page for hits for that?
Not for Heitkamp, no. Well, that's because they actively suppress.
Yeah, anybody in that whole sort of little.
Yeah, see, if we put in Carano, we come up.
Anybody in the Washington Newsweek. In the Washington establishment mafia, they all stick together. They all this stuff will be suppressed. And remember, this is all in
if you put in her name.
This is all in oligarchy. This is all they're working in concert with one another. The people, the party, the big tech, the Hollywood, the mainstream media. It all is. It's an entire oligarchy, man. You know, and
you're right. No, you're right.
And they're all covering for one another. So all these things, when you search, especially on Google, it's gonna be suppressed. Any bad press will be suppressed.
And it's true. I mean, I don't mean to get political here, guys, but the biggest one that keeps bothering me is that the Hunter Biden story. Like,
Heretic was Prince,
legitimate story. Oh, Heretic Prince, what's up? Yeah, exactly. They'd rather ostracize people than argue, and people would rather stay quiet than deal with that. And that's sort of the philosophy John kind of established bounding into comics with, is that the more we stay quiet and just deal with it, the more they get to do stuff like this, the more it just flows out. So let people know, let these it dribbles out, if you will. Let these companies know how you can that you don't like it. Don't, John doesn't agree with it. I support voting with your wallet because I think in some cases, maybe not against like Disney, voting with your wallet can help, especially in the video game realm. But you don't be quiet. Don't deal with it how you can, but just like I said earlier, be vigilant. Just don't sleep on this because it's happening right under our eyes. Oh man, what was I gonna say? Damn it.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody
we wanted to get our thoughts on it.
No, yeah, I'm glad to get your thoughts because I saw a YetiCast clip and I was like, that is insane. There has to be more. She has to go like detail it. She doesn't. Like that is the end of it, guys. Like I sat through an episode of Bill Maher the entire hour. She never brings it up again. Off that point, like where it ends right there, she goes into Trump. She goes into just all that crap and derails the conversation. Yeah, conflating, derailing, just avoiding it altogether. It's just straight up insane. But that's what I was saying. The worst case I've seen of the suppression was the Hunter Biden story because that laptop supposedly leaked, supposedly everything, blah, 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 blah. But every news organization and, of course, Twitter shut down that story. And a couple weeks ago, they straight up came out, like the government, FBI came out, and they were like, yeah, that was actually a valid thing that, was newsworthy. And no punishments. Nobody says, oops, sorry, no retractions. It's just, like Drew said, they all control it, so they all want to protect themselves. And it links back to what Dawn and I were saying, where they'll just keep changing everything so that they are always on top, so that they are always right, that they are always the ones in control. Ironically, I just see Pat's comment. They can't control us. They can't as long as you stay vigilant. Again, I'm not asking everybody to go out there, put on masks, like metaphorical masks and fight campaigns on Twitter or anything, but I'm just saying, support the things you like, be wary, like be open or like be cautious of the things like this that you see and call out crap when you see it.
Yeah.
Like that's really all we can do is just keep calling out the crap, keep calling out the crap.
It's a human right. Criticism, judgment, discernment, being able to say something when something doesn't feel right, doesn't look right, doesn't have any sort of, it gives you an uneasy feeling. All that's happening right now is very disturbing, and you'd be right to say that it's just the beginning. We're just in March still.
I know we are just in March.
Very, very slippery slope down into what could be an endless abyss of losing of your rights, the right to criticize, the right to judge, the right to have common sense discernment.
No, all of those are going, because what they do is they change, this is, I'm going to criticize you. Hey, I don't like this story. I think you're taking the story from a really bad angle. A bunch of people say that, right? Too bad, let's say it's against like a CBS reporter and a bunch of people go, hey, I think you got that, like that's a complete misrepresentation. That's wrong. You've got to correct it. They will go, harassment. Oh my gosh, I'm being harassed. I'm being threatened. And then because people hear threatened and harassed, their brains automatically jump to that that's wrong. So the person being harassed is right. And guys, I almost promise you that half the time somebody says they're getting harassed, it's just a lot of people firing back and criticizing it. Or two, if they're saying they're getting threats, if they are actually getting threats, it might be one or two, which again, take them seriously, do what you need to do, but don't act like the entire fandom is coming out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly, Mr. Anime. As Jeremy would say, show me the receipts. That's what we always do here, and nobody else does.
Right.
Again, I guess we can pull it up because we have a little bit of time.
Data Racer would be able to show everybody the receipts anyway.
I feel like Data Racer has receipts on everything. Like if he time traveled and met like Julius Caesar, he'd be like, bro, like look at this, I've got your receipts. Don't tell everybody you're like immortal or whatever. It would be great. Yeah, but I want to pull up this story that Dawn sent me right before we went on because it was insane, we have, as always, another piece talking about toxic fandom and about how everybody threatens and they talk about the alleged harassment from Snyder Cut fans. And again, they don't show anything. Nobody has showed anything regarding that. But why this kind of sparked in my head is that this is a really weird article. They start off by talking about like fandoms, and then they kind of go into feminism, and then they go into like black feminism. It's a really weird thing. But in the article, they literally reference us, or the event that surrounded Bounding into Comics, when we pointed out Christina Ariel, the host of the Star Wars High Republic show, when we pointed out her racist social media history, and I'll recap it real quick in case anybody wasn't there for that. We pointed out her social media history. People obviously weren't happy with it, went to voice their discontent with Ariel's anti-white rhetoric. And in response, it became,
she's the victim.
Yeah, she became the victim. The media started painting her as the victim. Star Wars put out that post saying we don't stand for racism or any of this stuff. And
we stand with Christina Ariel.
Right. And they even referenced that moment in this article, saying in January, cosplayer and host Christina Ariel faced racist attacks and threats after the studio named her the host of the High Republic show, a bi-monthly show on Star Wars, blah, 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 blah. Ahead of the show's debut, previous tweets from Ariel denouncing systemic racism, essentially calling upon white people to own their role on it, were resurfaced. Like, she received numerous threats via social media. Rather than remain silent, Lucasfilm swiftly backed Ariel, stating on Twitter on January 22nd, our Star Wars community is one of hope and inclusivity. We support Christina Ariel. What's the problem there, guys? Problem is, or do you have a guess? I'm sure Don knows.
Oh, I told you what the problem was.
I just didn't know if you were going to tell them. I can tell them. The problem here, guys, they don't show anything. They don't show what we found. They don't show everything that was directed at us. They literally they scoop out half the story to frame it like this. Ariel's tweets were not just denouncing systemic racism. There were some that were on that logic line where if you read them, yeah, they could seem, or they are racist, not could seem. They are racist, but they're sort of in support of this ideology Kool-Aid crap that she's drank. But there are others that are just flat out racist. And nobody ever shows them. Nobody has ever shown them except for us.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the receipts thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
Always provide receipts. Always ask for receipts. If somebody accuses you of something, ask for those damn receipts. Drew, Don, do either of you guys know who the journalist Jesse Singal is?
No.
All right. So Jesse Singal is an independent journalist. He's one of his major sort of beats is the transgender wave that's sort of sweeping the world, and he kind of pushes back against it, trying to say like it's really dangerous to give kids, puberty blockers. A lot of the research is poorly cited and poorly done. Yep. He's that kind of reporter, but he also reports on just general things. So the other week he constantly gets these accusations of being a transphobe and transphobic and harassing trans women just for the fact that he pushes back against the narrative and, questions the trans women when they, accuse him of things.
Right.
And so out of nowhere, or might have been jumped off of something. I don't remember why it started, but last week Singal was heavily getting railed for being a transphobe just from all sides of social media. And one of the people who stepped up with accusations was our good friend, Brianna Wu. And Brianna Wu jumps in and she starts going, Singal, don't listen to him. He's like every trans woman in the sphere has a story about him harassing them. All he does is promote transphobia. He is a bad person. Like one day I will speak to my experiences and everything will come out. And Singal basically went, what are you talking about? Brianna, right now I will give you $1,000 if you present any of those receipts. Show me one time I harassed a trans woman, stalked a trans woman, assaulted a trans woman. Show me one time. So Singal offers $1,000. Shortly after, everybody, just lots of people start going, I'm in too. I'm into. And these are people with like real name accounts and like blue check marks are going, here's more, here's more, here's more. Colin Moriarty, if anybody knows him, he's a pretty big in the video game sphere. He offered like 5,000. Eventually, the total was $50,000 charity donation to a charity of Wu's choice if she could provide one receipt of Singal having done anything.
Right.
Instead, I mean, obviously she didn't. And instead, Wu took to Twitter and was like, this is harassment. You don't get to say when I share my experiences. I will share them when I am ready. This is harassment. And like, that's literally the end game here, guys. They don't have these receipts.
You're gonna make me build up a rant now, aren't you?
Dude, go for that rant.
You know,
if you've got a rant, drop that rant.
Because look, all I'm gonna say is I don't care if you're guys out there. I don't care if you're girls. You know, you SJW freaks are on notice. All right, because in the end, nobody cares if you're trans, if you're gay. You know, you do you, boo. It's all good. But the thing is, you know, you start coming for the average person trying to say like, oh, we're oppressing you, we're harassing you, it's targeted harassment. No, what's targeted harassment is you and your ilk coming out every day to try to ruin innocent people's lives with your lies and your garbage. And if you continue to do it, well, then guess what? You are going to continually get wrecked. All right? Because we're done playing with your sorry asses. We're going to call you out.
That's the thing, Drew. Like we should and we do regularly hand them their asses in a lot of these arguments and accusations and stuff.
Oh, and
but
one more
go ahead,
thing,
yeah.
One more thing. Look, enough with your stupid my truth, because guess what? My truth equals my lie.
It is a very disingenuous way to shut down conversation. Drew is absolutely on the money.
Dude, Spencer, I'm looking at this story about Brianna Wu getting challenged. Katie Herzog, a blue check mark.
Blue check mark.
Yeah, she has the receipts and everybody's chipping in. And if she gets it, it seems like a good deal.
Yeah.
Diana Anderson, totally fine to have this area of interest. Lots of journalists specialize in particular issues. Singal's focus seems to have started around 2016-17. Started speaking to trans women for articles, began working with stories on trans kids at the time. A lot of trans women flagged to keep creepy boundary crossing behavior that they felt as dehumanizing. They flagged this up. The Whisper Network of Trans Women. Most women have had similar experiences. Blah, blah, blah. And nothing. It looks like nothing came of it.
No, yeah. Brianna ran away with her tail between her legs.
Wow.
That's all she could do. She got
that is all she could do. She didn't have anything.
So yeah, it's the actual story is on Quillette.com.
Quillette's great.
Yeah, so if you guys, we're gonna provide the receipts.
Man, you know what we need back. I need my favorite press secretary back. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Which one?
He's a Fox News contributor now.
Yeah, I know.
No, dude, that's not the best one. The best one's Scaramucci.
No,
that was my boy.
No, Kaylee was awesome, man. Kaylee,
yeah, she was the one at the very end. That's good.
She just absolutely every single time smashed the media into pieces.
She did. She did fire back a lot.
I like the Mooch better. He was more relatable.
Yeah, I did love them. I did love the Mooch. Did you guys see? I don't remember who it was, but there was this woman who is part of the Biden administration. She was giving a White House press conference on something, and she's like a middle-aged black woman, an older black woman, and she walks in the room and she goes, "Good morning," and she's walking in front of the press pool, and she goes, "Good morning," and nobody says anything. They're just like, "Hi, yeah, good morning," and she literally goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear you." And like, and then they all go, "Good morning," and she goes, "That's what I thought." Oh my gosh, it made me so mad. I was just like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
These people have a serious like self-importance problem, man. They really do. They're narcissistic.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
And you know, and this is the thing. That's what you get from people that are authoritarians. That's what you always get. And again, that's why we need people to wake up, because you know it's very clear what these people are all about.
Right. Exactly. And I think there's a slow wake up happening, but it's going to be some time before it really picks up steam. Except for
the massive downvotes that are happening on the White House YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a significant amount of people
that are waking up. Oh, I definitely think so too. There are like 10 states, 12 states right now that have legislation pending to ban critical race theory from being taught. Or in critical social
Texas.
Well, good. They should, because
no, they absolutely should.
Minnesota,
because
Minnesota's one of them.
Because
California is a lost cause. They passed the blood worship one.
Yeah, of course they did. They're idiots.
Oh, the Aztec bullshit.
But so weird.
I think what we're going to see. This is my black pill for the day. The people that are going to wake up, they're going to migrate. They're going to have a mass exodus from the mainstream. They're going to cut the cord. They're going to come over to us. Whatever, when YouTube gets rid of us, because
I was just going to say that.
We'll have to migrate to another thing. We'll have to set up servers. We'll have to set up, our own software.
I'm just.
And that's going to be our gig, and we're going to be. It's going to be echo chambers because they don't want to hear us, and we're tired of hearing them.
I'd have a conversation with one of them if it was of any substance and didn't just evolve into accusations of being a white supremacist.
Right.
Yeah. Or they call us traitors to our own race.
Or
phobes. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Whatever phobia we have.
Whatever ist you are that particular week.
And then the thing about the Nazi, if you guys watch my word of the day, conflating somebody to be that reprehensible of a human being just because they disagree with your opinion, that is absolutely insane. Now, I understand there's the hyperbole of it. There's the soup Nazi back in the day with the Seinfeld episode. But when you're doing that in all seriousness, conflating somebody to be a actual Nazi, someone who took an entire race of people and put them in fucking ovens and then threw lime on them and threw them in pits, that is absolutely objectionable. And I don't think anybody should stand for being called that. And Gina has every right, if she wanted to take this person to task in the court of law.
I really hope she does. I unfortunately, I'm not going to give my opinion because I right now off the top of my head, I don't remember slander and defamation laws. I mean, I've written about them a billion times. I'm just blanking on it. But if she can, I want her to just destroy them. Or Senator Heitkamp, like just end it, like set a precedent, like show them that we're not going to take it anymore, even if it's to the tune, like especially if it's to the tune of money.
Money.
What Don is suggesting should be done now. I know the subscription join button is there, but I try to limit giving Google money. You creators should get set up now, and that's the thing. I'll admit that, like John and I, every day we're always looking into alternative platforms. Whenever one comes up, we create an account for Bounding just to placehold it in case it blows up. We're looking. We really do want this sort of ecosystem because I think the danger is, like you're pointing to, Roof Korean, the fact that it's Google owned, so that at any time we're subject to their bonkers, unfair, never really specified rules.
The goalpost
right?
Every
exactly.
Moment something else
will always be subjected to that, and that sucks. But if I think there is a hope, I think more people are seeing that YouTube sucks, so that's why we see more platforms rising. And specifically, I want to give a shout out to Oh, I don't know if we can talk about that yet.
No, don't talk about it.
Yeah, no, I can't talk about that yet. Sorry. I'll give a shout out to Don for being a good friend. Yeah, no. But what I was going to reference is there's I am aware, we are aware here of something that's in the works that is in support of that goal, and it's really exciting. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple months, I think. Yeah, but we're looking, guys. Don't worry. We know it sucks, and we appreciate the fact that you're even here with us on this crap platform. But yeah, right now we're just going to have to deal with YouTube's rules and just be vocal anytime anything happens. Anytime they try to get rid of dislike buttons or they try to promote Jimmy Kimmel. In fact, everybody should just go to Jimmy Kimmel's channel and downvote everything.
That's all right. You know, we got secret weapons in our back pocket.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, and listen, I hope when President Trump launches his platform.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
When they launch that social media platform, I'm jumping on that shit. I'm all over it. You know, as soon as I am anxiously awaiting that. I can't wait for that. I'm signing up first day. But
yeah, I hope they thought that through, like what kind of servers they're going to be on, what kind of restrictions are going to be.
Oh, if he hires the right people and lets them do their thing.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I think this has been going on for so long that you're finally getting it out of the sort of niche circles. Like, you know, a couple years ago, it was only video game fans and comic book fans and fans of stuff like the nerdy culture who were seeing it because that's where all the spaces were being invaded. You're seeing it more now, though, so it makes me optimistic that more people of wider skill sets are taking notice. So you're gonna have a lot of good software engineers, hardware, like computer engineers, all these people who can help provide that. Like I highly doubt that even like whether it's Trump's thing or any other sort of alternative, 9 times out of 10, I would bet that they're not just hiring a guy off of Craigslist.
all tech is going to blow up. All tech is going to blow up. That is going to be the premier trade and vocation to jump into. And if anybody's out there,
are you telling us to learn to code?
I'm just saying, if anybody's out there looking for career change and you're like thinking about a pivot, now's the time to rock with that pivot and go for it, because all tech is going to be the place to go. People are going to want app developers. People are going to want people to make old school forums, because I bet dollars to donuts. The old message boards and forums will make a comeback.
Oh man, BBS.
Yeah, you know, people are going to stay in communication, and people are going to still continue to get their voices out there. And oh, by the way, as I was saying, folks, we got secret weapons in our back pocket, because I got a nice little site that y'all might remember.
Well, now it's not in your back pocket.
Yeah, it's still out there. I own the domain, so they're not going to take that from me. But I got sickestofall.com in my back pocket, and you know, I can just drop stories on that bad boy at any time. And believe me, you know, on Bounding, we have certain standards to adhere to because of our parent company. But on Sickest of All, the only person that has standards on there that people have to adhere to are mine. And I'm like, hey, anything goes, folks. So yeah, there it is. So yeah, you guys will always get information. And if you look for sources that you feel comfortable with, that you trust, you can get it here. We're going to get the opportunity to start working more on Sickest of All and bring it back updated. You can get it there. You can get it all over. And for now, you can get it on YouTube channels like ours, like Wes Moody, like people like that, because there's a lot of people dedicated to talking about what's going on in the world and asking, you know, the relevant questions and trying to find truth. And if anybody that you see your favorite YouTuber supports those kind of endeavors, man, blow them up through the rooftops.
Yeah, exactly. Vote with your wallet. Support. Vote, and if you can't vote with your wallet, vote with your support. Vote. Let people know about your favorite channels. Retweet them. Anything you want to do. I'm not gonna. What am I? I'm a guy on a screen. You can do whatever you want, but that's what I would recommend. But aside from that, that was, I don't even know, that was like a perfect ending, Drew. Like that was a perfect like lead into closing out the stream. So with Drew's amazing speech, like that was awesome. Yeah, I think we should wrap up the stream. We're about 15 minutes over. So with that, let's go around the horn and I will start with Don. Don, what do you got going on?
Eventually later tonight, you will have a new word of the day. Yeah.
Is it gay?
It is. But yeah, keep a lookout for that. I will be having an article come out on Bounding into Comics at some point talking about a thing that might be happening, a rumor, and there's probably going to be some discussion on it. I am not familiar with this property at all, and I try to follow Marvel as much as I can, and I had no interest in following it anyway. So
our resident Marvelite.
I'll find some interesting tidbits about it, but look out for that. And yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, hit up my channel. I spelled it out for you so you can find it easier. Get some views on some of my videos. That would be great. And yeah, have a good night, guys.
Yeah, and Don, you're going to be populating your channel with more content as we go, correct?
Yeah, word of the day every day.
All right, and you're going to do some more streams as well soon?
I'll try, dude. Monday, I was just swamped with trying to get that first word of the day out.
Okay.
I'm a stickler for trying to make the content as high quality as I can make it in the time given. So sometimes that takes a little more time than like just busting out a video within 20 minutes. But
Don's dedicated to his craft, folks. You know, he's a humble guy, but he does have good production value. I really would like to see his channel get some growth behind it. You know, Don is you know, I know this from being his colleague and his friend. You know, he's got quite the beautiful mind. He's a good dude, and you know, please support him if you know, if you get the time, just check out his stuff. And all right,
awesome. What about you, Drew? You just pimped Don. What have you got going on?
all right. So before I got here late, I feel bad that I got here late. Oh
no, yeah, I know.
So much.
No, dude, I'm just glad. I'm just happy you made it. I know you're busy with that new radio show, which apparently is killing it.
Yeah, we had a good show today. I covered some great topics. And on Wednesdays, guys, I do a show on a channel called Redline Radio LLC here on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty fun. It's like 2 hours, conservative talk radio style format. Today we covered HR1. I talked about the crisis at the border, talked about a lot of different things. And I'm sure I'm going to have a high heresy stream coming up in the future. Also, if you like escapist entertainment, like actually real escapist entertainment, come to my channel tomorrow, because every Thursday we do a little program called the Pegasus Actual Podcast. These guys know about it because they stop by all the time. We talk about the Battlestar Galactica, the Ronald D. Moore Battlestar Galactica that ran 4 seasons back in the earlier 2000s, and that was good. It was really good, and we are now up to the season 3 episodes. We are, I believe, we are right about the 10th episode of season 3, and we'll be talking about that, well, later tonight, right? Actually, now it's over here on my end.
Yeah, that's true.
On my end of the country, it's
we flipped over. Yeah.
So, yeah, later tonight we'll be talking about season 3, episode 10, and you can catch that on my channel 9 p.m. Eastern. Also, make sure that you stay tuned because I usually am around a lot of the streams around the fandom. I also, I hang out a lot with the guys from Rogue Entertainment, author Stephen Walton, Culture Casino,
Walton, yeah.
Red Gaze, our boy Vinny Tardamella, Machini 90, Sporting News Podcast. And we got a cast of thousands over there. So you guys will always see me popping up around the fandom. But, all I can say is thank you so much, chat, because without you guys, there is no us. You guys are awesome. You guys always have our backs, and we have your back because we are going to be out there fighting that war. We are going to be out there on the front lines, and we are always going to shoot you straight. You are not going to get BS from us because we are in your corner. And you guys have been in ours as well, and I can't thank you enough for that. So take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you soon. All right, Spencer, hit him.
Man, I feel so galvanized after Drew's talks. That I can feel your talk radio power coming through every time.
You might get some bullshit from me.
All right, guys, as always, we have been Bounding into Comics. This has been Bounding Live. We have it every Wednesday. I want to thank everybody for showing up. We had a great chat tonight. You guys were super fantastic. I know we've got Resurgam, Roof Korean, Mark6636, Kogi Pan, Mr. Anime. Oh, gosh, we've had so many people throughout the night. Josh was here, scrolling, Patrick McNeil. We had, oh my gosh.
Markel.
Yeah, we had Markeo, we had Red Drakon, we had Keely Chow for a little bit. Mark, a couple Kamen Rider fans like Master Zero stopped by. That was really cool. I love, like Drew said, we love you guys. We couldn't be doing this without you. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support us even more, we have opened up subscriptions on the YouTube channel. You get a nice little logo next to your name of varying colors of our hero. I don't think we have them yet.
Don't we have emojis too?
Yes, we also have emojis, and we have some polls and some exclusive live streams and content for you guys there. So if you're interested, you can join. We've got 3 different levels. If not, we'll always be back here. We'll be here on Wednesdays for Bounding Live. Fridays,
we got the Daily Stupids.
Yep. On Fridays, we normally have a review stream. They're currently on hold because John is out. I think when he comes back, we will be starting our consecutive or our concurrent watch of My Hero Academia season 5 on throughout. Yeah, as Drew mentioned, throughout the days. We have the Daily Stupid, which is still not monetized, guys. Or I still haven't received word about it. It's still pending. Insane.
Actually, though, you know what, Spencer? Here's an idea. Maybe this Friday, since we mentioned it earlier. Mm-hmm. Maybe you and I and Don should just do a little watch of They Live and like do a retro
break it down. Yeah,
do a retro review this Friday.
Yeah, let's talk behind the scenes and see what everybody's schedule is like, because that might actually be really fun. And if not this Friday, we should definitely set that up because I think that would be super interesting.
That would be.
That movie is so relevant to right now. Yes, but yeah, like Drew said, on Tuesdays we have a live stream for the Daily Stupid, and every other day we have the Daily Stupid as a normal video. We are producing ever more content on this channel. Don's producing content on his channel. Drew's got content in his channel. All of us are trying to grow here. So check them out. Keep supporting us if you want. If not, thanks for stopping by. And until next time, guys, really take it easy. That's all I've got to say.
Have a good night, guys.